Search is over, now welcome to First Mint. Looking for NFT content, look no further cause this is it. From Top Shot to blockchain, they got the data chops, analysis, impact drops, the show's equator hot. LG and Phil D, the best amongst others. Best brothers that happen to ball since the Ball brothers. So settle in cause it's time for the best show. Ayo Quad, who we reppin'? First Mint. Let's go.
Phil is coming to you live from a massive thunderstorm. Like the movie Twister, he's in the middle of an insane storm in Toronto.
Actually, you say that, but when I lived in Ohio, I actually went through the weekly drill of tornado sirens that would go off every Wednesday at like 3 p.m. And they were just doing them to make sure they work. But then we actually had a real tornado siren go off one time, like for real. And people went to hide at Walmart. Yeah, so it was pretty intense.
People went to hide at Walmart?
Yes. Apparently, you're supposed to like run. If you don't have a shelter, you're not supposed to stay in your house and like hide in the bathtub like they say. You're supposed to go to the local Walmart, which is the establishment that is most likely to not like be torn apart, I guess. I don't know, man.
I guess it has a good foundation or something like that. But I only know, listen, my like 100% of my tornado safety comes from the movie Twister. Like that's it. Like this, whatever year it was, Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, they launched the little marbles or whatever it is into the sky. The one guy gets drilled, like the ladder goes through him. I don't know if you remember that part, like their enemy, like the ladder just kills his driver. That's all I know. And I just know like go hide in the basement or I guess in the Midwest, everybody has like a secret compartment where they hide.
Well, we laugh about
there's no hiding. There's no hiding from the F5.
I would not want to live somewhere that has regular tornadoes. Like Ohio, for me, was the closest I've come to living to somewhere like that. Obviously, we don't get tornadoes here in Toronto. We get them close to Toronto, obviously, right? Like we had some in Barrie, Ontario. Ottawa had some last week.
Yeah, like in the fields, but it's not like a regular occurrence. Like there's not like a tornado season. It's just like occasionally during the bad storm, there might be a little tornado that touches down.
What is?
But it's not like extreme.
We're getting destroyed here with thunder.
I love it. We can. I think we can like see the lightning at times, and we can
might happen.
Hear the thunder. So
it might happen. Like it. But yeah, no. So it's that was my first experience with that. I don't want to experience it again because we didn't know what to do. It was like, do we hide? Do we just sit at home? I have no idea. Big storm right now, LG, and hopefully the power doesn't go out. That has happened to me before while recording. But what's weird is for those who are not watching right now on YouTube, for some reason, there is a weird shadow on my screen that I cannot get rid of. It's like a weird kind of
something spooky.
Something weird's going on
house.
Here.
Something isn't right at Phil's house. You say you're glad you're not home alone?
I'm glad I'm not home alone because if I heard noises somewhere, I'd have to go investigate them. I'm like that, man. When I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear a noise, I run to it like MacGyver style, man, like full speed.
Was it you that told me the story during the 2003 blackout, like the huge East Coast blackout?
Sure. Yes.
That and you were like alone at your apartment in the shower and the lights went out and you thought it was somebody pulling a prank or trying to murder you and you I got a shampoo bottle and ran around naked trying to find the intruder.
It's close. Okay, so that huge blackout that probably impacted every single person listening to this that's in North America. I was at the time I was volunteering for the CFL team, the Toronto Argonauts. And my job with the Toronto Argonauts was to watch the cheerleaders all game on the field and signal to them when it was time to go on the field and dance. Okay, that was my job as a volunteer.
Wow.
I got to stay on the field. I got to meet so many people. It was a great experience. So there was a game that night. It was like a Thursday night, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was in the shower preparing to, go to the game. When all of a sudden,
what was the process like when you're the cheerleader handler? Do you shower a little extra? Like, do you prep a little, spend a bit of extra time on your hair?
Oh no, you definitely do, man. You iron your khakis and all that stuff before you go out the door. That's for sure. No, seriously, you have to. Not that they look at you like that, but
so Phil's ironing his khakis and the power goes out.
No, I was in the shower. Okay, so picture being in the shower. Just picture being in the shower. And in an apartment where most of the light you get in an apartment is typically daylight from outside. right? You don't need to turn on lights just because.
What floor apartment? Like what?
I think
level
we
were you
were on the 8th floor, maybe at the time.
Okay,
Something like that. Okay.
So you're pretty high. So the light is coming from like one wall where
it's middle of the day where you would never have lights on inside.
No,
unless you're in the washroom. Only place you need a light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it hits.
So the light is on, and I'm showering, got soap in my hair and all that, and all of a sudden, the light turns off, and I'm like, "Oh fuck! Somebody just came in and shut the light off on me." Okay, that's all I thought of. I didn't think of a power outage. Why would you think of a power outage in the middle of a beautiful sunny day? Do you know what I mean?
I like the logic that there's an intruder. And they're turning the lights. That's the thing they're getting you with. Not they're stabbing you out or they're robbing you. To lure you out to what? To kill you?
Well, this is all I thought.
You're most vulnerable in the shower. I'd say it's more dangerous when you're out.
Someone's waiting for me outside this door. What do I do? So I froze up for a little bit. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to wait here for a second, see if I can hear anything. I don't hear anything. So I take the actual bar down that holds the towels. I take it off its actual holder like thing. And I don't know why at the time. Like now I'm the complete opposite. I run towards danger now. Not much scares me. But back then I was pretty much a chicken shit.
That's what having kids is. I feel like having kids probably does that to you.
Back then, in terms of when it came to like stuff like that, like an intruder in your apartment. Now I'm telling you, I hear a noise in the night, I run full speed and I try and find it, and I don't stop till I find it. But back then, so I slowly, it took me about 25 minutes. I had to leave, man. It took me 25 minutes to open that damn door and kind of like slowly open the door. And I'm like, man, he's going to be standing right there. And if he's not, he's right around that corner.
Oh, wow. Gender assumption. Why do you think it's a guy?
Don't get me started on that, please. Okay, I don't know.
What if it's somebody who identifies as a cat, Phil? What if it's somebody who identifies as a cat? They brought their own litter box.
If you're going to talk about cats, you need to bring Chamber back, because that was his favorite topic of all time, is
I know.
talking about litter boxes in schools in Toronto. That got him going big time. So I went out, and naturally, after probably a full hour of like tippy-toeing all over the place and looking under beds and closets, there had been no entry through a window. There had been no entry through the front door. There was nobody there. But I did not know the freaking mess that was waiting for me outside. And that was that the power was out at every single stop sign, like everywhere. And I made my way downtown, and it was like it was out of a movie. It was a scene out of a movie where nobody knew what was going on. And I made it all the way down there. They canceled the game. And man, that was nuts. I don't even remember what happened. I think it was North America wide, wasn't it?
Nah, it was the entire Eastern Seaboard.
Oh, the East Coast.
Like it was, I think it was actually a big power station in Ohio, of all places, that had a problem. And for whatever reason, like everybody, like Ontario down to like maybe like the Carolinas, lost power. There's the Thunder kid.
Monsieur Bougadi.
I have to say, while we're on the topic of Chamber, I don't think we need to talk about blackouts and tornadoes anymore, but Chamber, I love those episodes. I know everybody else got the chance to listen. I thought those episodes were great. I went on the DGen Network show last Friday to recap it with them.
I wanted to go on that so bad.
And you know, great energy with those guys. Honestly, they seem like guys like us, same kind of demographic, same mindset. You know, they're not taking any of this crypto stuff too seriously. And I thought the episodes of Chamber were awesome. And you know what's funny is when I went on the show the other day with them, they told me how the First Mint influenced one of their shows, the Mint Condition, because those guys were doing a crypto podcast starting in like 2018, but that was called the Wrecked Podcast. But that was just like talking about shit coins or whatever. But he said that when the NFT started and they were all listening to First Mint, that they wanted to do their own thing and started a show called the Mint Condition that was, you know, not like trying to copy First Mint, but inspired by, hey, people are making podcasts about NFTs. And they referenced how when First Mint came out, there were no podcasts about NFTs. There's a few random ones like the non-fungibles and stuff, but they never posted. So it was kind of interesting to reminisce and get a bit of that energy from them. But what I didn't tell them, Phil is now gone. Phil may have lost power 9 minutes in to our show. Let's see. All right. Well, okay. He's texting me. Internet, fuck power. It's back. Coming back in. Internet is resetting. All right. Phil's going to be back in just a second, folks. But Phil vanished while I was telling that story, because as he predicted, the power went out, which I'm assuming is going to be a preview of most of the rest of the episode. Anyways, well, I guess I can finish that story even if Phil's not here. What I found interesting when they started mint condition is that they did that. And this is a time when I started First Mint, I was like way more protective of the brand and the idea of being like one of the only NFT podcasts, which is ironic now because there's like millions of them. And it's good. A lot of them are fantastic. I was way more protective of that at the time. It's kind of hard. It's kind of a strange feeling to be like I guess an influencer very quickly like that. And I didn't really know how to react. So when those guys started mint condition, it kind of, I don't know. I was like, fuck you guys, man. I wasn't too thrilled about it because I was like, well, you got to steal like a similar name. You guys are trying to do the same thing as me. But I mean, those feelings quickly went away, but it was kind of a full circle moment for me to kind of come back around to being on their show, having Chamber on our show and kind of doing that collaboration was, I think, healthy for me long-term in my soul after originally being kind of annoyed that they were starting, their own show in a similar vein as First Mint. Obviously, since then, everyone's gone their own ways and we're all happy to just kind of still be surviving in the space in a very loose way. So no complaints there. Hey, he's back. Phil D has returned.
So what are the odds we were talking about that? Like the power.
You just said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. I don't know what you've been saying for the last like 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's rewind to Chamber, who I had absolutely no idea. Like my vision of Chamber from the night we did that contest to be my co-host for 2 weeks.
From the co-host
was that he was some big LA Lakers fan that lives in like a hippie like cave type of place somewhere in California. That was my vision of him, right? Because you always have a vision.
Cave. He lives in a hippie cave,
right?
I like that.
A hippie cave, right? Because and one of the comments, I know you saw this in the episode. One of the comments I got from someone after our first episode together was that this guy Chamber sounds like he's hacked 10 or more cigarettes in the last like hour. Okay.
Totally.
So I have to ask him if he smokes.
Poor guy.
I didn't recognize that. I don't know. I guess a smoker would recognize that, but he said he quit. So he was having like withdrawals and stuff. No, he was great, man. We had a great time. The chemistry was good. You could tell it would be, though. I think out of all the contestants we had kind of make it to the end, I know with Quad for sure I would have had good chemistry for sure because Quad is easy to. Quad's part of the really family. Like outrageous.
Quad is just like another.
That's right.
Like another sibling.
He's another one.
Like he could fill in for us at any moment with a no notice, and he'd be fine.
Exactly. And I feel like Goldberg would have been more. We would have talked more like sports only, and not 100% got into these. Like,
which would have been. I think it would have been
right?
good. I think with Goldberg it would have been good on the sports side, but it's not a high sports time, which is what you guys talked about a little bit on the show. It's like there's Summer League and there's Tour de France.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what are you going to?
But it's not. There's nothing majorly controversial. There were no big trades in the NBA. There's nothing like there wasn't really. It's not. July's not like a good time for hot takes. You know what I mean? Like the summer is not like a hot take time. So having a more sports focused person makes more sense. Like in the fall
would have been
tough.
But
yeah. So with Chamber, it's like let's just talk total bullshit. And he had me in the first 3 minutes when you asked him to tell the audience about himself, and he said that he's a huge Bigfoot guy. And that
I knew you would love that. Yeah,
I love that. And I knew because I chatted with him the week before I went away to kind of get him set up and make sure he knew what he was doing. And he told me then that he was French Canadian in the same way that we are. And he told me all that stuff, and I was like, oh my god, you got to wait. I was like, do not reveal that to Phil until you're live on the air because that is so good. He's going to go nuts. And so I knew all that, but then I didn't know any of the other stuff like Bigfoot Believer. And I actually made a list. I made a list of my favorite moments over those 2 episodes. Okay, so I'm just going to go through them. Bigfoot Believer, him going through his French Canadian heritage like us. The parts where you hate Threads, because that came up many times about how much you hate Threads. It was so very, very good. Man. And I do want to talk about today's Twitter rebrand in a minute, so we'll get to that. Chambers' audible gasp when you told him about deleting your MetaMask. Like somebody who hasn't heard that story being told that like raw on the air, like that was awesome. And I'm still very sorry that it happened to you, Phil. But I thought that was funny.
Great because Chamber had not listened to every episode. And I think that was huge because listen, I know we have our very loyal listeners and we love them. But if it was only a loyal listener that came on and that's all we ever had on the show, they've heard all my damn stories. Okay. Yeah. He hadn't heard any of these damn stories.
No.
So I had the ability to tell them for like the millionth time to somebody else and see some raw reactions for once.
Yeah.
To Jamal Murray, to this and to that.
Exactly. Oh yeah, the Jamal Murray story
again.
There's that.
He hated Jamal Murray before we even got there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I like as soon as you brought up, you're like, yeah. So Jamal Murray, and he's like, I hate Jamal Murray, and I was like, oh,
you never hear that from anybody, man.
Two peas in a pod right here, man. Like he's gonna love this story. All right, let me finish my list. So, you guys, the whole thing about pronouncing Wemby. And like what, and then second, like you said a few times, you're like, I just say Wemby, and then a minute later, you just called him Victor. So I thought that was really good. One thing that blew me away was that you asked him how he came up with Chamber as his name, and it's just him and his wife's first names put together. So Chad and Amber, like that.
Chamber, come on, dude.
I thought that was kind of funny. And then also the last one I had was the term Toronto man's accent was really good. I really like that. I think that's a really like comical thing to think about, because it's true. Now, having not lived in Toronto for like 14 years, there is totally a Toronto man's accent.
There really is.
I've never heard anybody like speak it into existence the way that he did, but there is, and that's good.
We didn't really have a game plan. We just went with whatever came up, and he was easy to kind of.
You mean like we do every week? You mean like
you and exactly? No, that's true. You're right, because I told you early, LG, don't send me any sort of like lineup for the show. Let's just go at it with whatever's on our minds and whatever's going on right now. Which I have to say, okay. Speaking of the slow sports season, and you might be shocked by this because it shocked a lot of people that I told over the weekend.
Yeah,
I have a new sport that I'm kind of obsessed with out of nowhere. Okay.
Shit.
Is
it a sport that I know? Hold on. Can I try and guess?
You definitely know this sport, but it's not a sport that I've ever watched or understood in my entire life, but it is a huge sport. And it's, I think, the only sport on this entire planet that I never, ever bothered to kind of even figure anything out that relates to this.
Have you ever played it?
Never. And I want to now. I really want to now.
Shit. Can I get two guesses?
Yeah.
There's one really obvious one, because I feel like pickleball is a big thing now. Is it pickleball?
No, it's not pickleball.
I feel like that's too basic for you.
Yeah,
I feel like you're
more complex. What's that other game you play on the beach where like everyone like hits a ball with their hand onto like a trampoline?
Spike ball.
I've never played spike ball. Everyone's like, you're crazy.
The only people I see playing spike ball is when you go down to the beach here in Vancouver, and there are all these guys, these gaggles of young dudes from Ireland who've come here for the summer to work. And they all brought like a 12-pack of freaking the grossest beer possible, and they're playing spike ball. And they all have the same haircut, and they're all wearing stupid soccer jerseys. That's in my mind, who plays spike ball? Those guys. Anyways, don't have a problem with them. Okay, it's not a racist thing.
You're definitely gonna have someone in the comments saying, "Hey, what's wrong with spike?"
That's me. There's definitely someone in the comments is like, that's me you're talking about. My name's
I just never got into it. People play it in the water and shit. Like I see people in the middle of the water. The thing's floating.
Okay, I'm gonna go with like equestrian.
Oh, dude, do you picture me sitting there watching horses fly over? Like, first of all, I hate horses. I despise horses.
Why? I don't know that. Okay, actually, you did say that recently. Okay.
I hate horses because of the one experience I had my first time on a horse, where I told the whole group, like, I don't want to go on the horse because I know that horses don't like me and they don't listen to me, and they're like, "Don't worry, you just sit on there," and they follow. My horse took off the other way, and they couldn't find me for like an hour. I'm like, I don't even know how to stop this thing.
Okay, is it Quidditch?
No, but the way you said that is actually very close to what it's called. I thought you got it right. It sounds somewhat similar to what you just said.
Sounds like Quidditch.
It is one of the biggest sports in the world, but not in North America. No, it's cricket. Number one.
Cricket?
Yes.
Is it cricket? It's cricket, yeah.
Okay. So for the first time ever, and I didn't even do this when those NFTs came out. What do they call those cricket NFTs?
Phase Cruise fan or whatever it is.
Bother when that came out.
No, not
one night, because it's been so slow lately with baseball's on. There was the All-Star game. I was flipping the channels, and I have a box that has all the American channels. And on Fox Sport, it was on BT Sports, which is a UK channel. Mm-hmm. It said Major League Cricket. Okay. Mm-hmm. The obscure things of cricket don't interest me. Like when I see like there's a special game that lasts 20 hours between India and Australia.
Some of the games last like 6 days or something like that. Yeah.
But I saw Major League Cricket and I'm like, okay, that sounds American. Let me see what the hell this is. So I turn it on, and there's two teams playing and they have like American names. It's the New York something versus the Texas Super Kings. Okay. And I'm looking, I'm like, wait, is this all North American dudes? They actually play in a cricket league? But it wasn't. What it is that all the superstars from the world for the month of July, it's brand new. It's a brand new league that just started. It's called the Major League Cricket. They play in a month-long event in Texas, North Carolina, and like one other place. There's 6 or 7 teams, 6 teams total. And they sign the biggest players from all the countries in the world and put them on different teams for like one super league during the summer. And I'm like, okay, this is a good chance for me because it's very Americanized. So I'm like, this is perfect, right? This is what I need. They're kind of educating people how the sport works. And I was able to turn it on. And I'm actually pretty upset because I'm missing. I swear to God, LG, I watched the game of the night every single night now, like 9 nights in a row. I'm not joking. They last 3 hours, these games. Each team bats once. And the sport it's like baseball, but it's got so much more to it. And the things these guys do, I'm like, I got to find a way to play this sport. I know it sounds crazy. People are like, what the hell's cricket? But if you take the time to learn it, now I see the obsession in the world with the sport. And I now understand why that intern at work that was from Sri Lanka, this is years ago, he played on our baseball team.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Hold on. My screen went off. He played on our baseball team at work because we had a baseball team. And he would run the bases with the bat in his hand. And that would piss. No, he started a brawl with Volkswagen one time. Okay, when we played against Volkswagen, because they thought he was being like, it was like a showboating thing. So he hit a ball like a million miles.
Just that he didn't understand. He didn't know.
Dude, he just couldn't ever get it out of his head that you have to let the bat go. And he would run with it like extended out, like a sword. Okay, while running the bases. And teams got really
That's like the biggest FU if you do that in baseball. Like as if Bautista bat flip wasn't bad enough. Well, you run with it in the air, like pointed at where you hit the home run. That'd be the ultimate. I want somebody to do that in the majors,
not on purpose, man. He just had no clue.
No, I know you didn't know on purpose, but if you don't know that he's doing that because he thinks it's cricket,
we have to explain.
You'd be so mad. Like nothing could be worse than. And was this guy good at baseball? Did he crank like he would
crank the ball like he would? It was softball. Obviously, it's a work league, so it had.
But these guys hit it low too. That's the thing. Is that like I feel like you could hit like any ball.
They hit
cricket and then you go to baseball
every angle possible.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's no like down the middle
out of the dirt. They hit the high ones. They hit home runs backwards. Like if you hit a home run backwards, that's a home run. It's called a 6. And I'm obsessed with it now. Like the game I'm missing now because we're recording this is a huge showdown between the Texas Super Kings and the San Francisco Unicorns. Okay.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, you know what you got to Phil? No, I'm going to stop you right there. Listen. The best things that we've done when it comes to content have been things out of passion. You started your NBA 2K League podcast 6 years ago. You became a big deal in that community. I started the Top Shot thing with First Mint, became a big deal there. This is your chance, man. You're going to have all these people listening right now that are salivating to get some cricket insight from you. I think you got to set up. You know how Team Hold Mike Zakarian does playback. Yes. Right, where it's like him commentating live on the stream. I think you should start doing that, man. We set up a First Mint channel. You just do it through First Mint if you want.
I think it should
I'm only gonna watch it if I'm watching you watch it. Okay, because I need you to explain it to me.
It's wild because it took me forever, and it's so complicated that's kind of why I never really paid attention. But for me, because it was Americanized in the sense that they used U.S. city names for the teams, like the team doesn't play out of San Francisco.
Right.
All the games are in Dallas and North Carolina for the duration of this month-long tournament. But they have a team from Seattle, a team from San Fran, from New York, Los Angeles, but they don't actually play out of there. These players, and some of them had to leave mid-tournament because like West Indies is playing against New Zealand in a huge like international. So
they're like on loan or in the tournament.
But that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a fascinating sport, man. It's like I was blown away, and now I'm obsessed with it. And it made me want to play it. Like I've never ever even held.
Can you answer one question for me?
Of course.
Why do some games last like 2 days?
It's a different style. So those
like a different format.
This is what attracted me actually, because my vision of cricket was like it lasts all week, a cricket match, right? I was like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
This one is you bat a certain amount of innings, which is 20 innings in a row. They're called overs, where you get 6 pitches per inning, only 6 balls. And you get them 20 of them. Each team gets 20, and it's basically who has the most points at
Got
the
it.
end based on what
Okay.
you did. So
Right.
it's 3 hours long, these matches. That's it.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Not
okay.
2-3 days. I can see why people like these 2-3 day ones. You know, they go
Yeah.
party like it's Woodstock and they go every day to the park and the game continues over. And
I
over and
actually
over.
think that something
But-
like that would be kind of cool. We don't really have
Mhm.
any sports like that in our culture. Like we have series, like playoff series, but now the games are like 3 days apart. It's ridiculous. But I like the idea of it being like a really compressed, but like it's like a festival you go to, but it's actually just a match. And I feel like that's like an ancient thing where it's like cricket was probably used to like resolve, you know, tribal disputes. I have no idea if that's true or not. I mainly just think about lacrosse, which is similar. Lacrosse is when you think about
way
like
back.
what it's like, it's very similar ball, similar. You have like a weapon, you know, like it's very similar, but I feel like that's kind of what maybe cricket is born out of, is like, let's, you know, these two towns are going to go at it. Both towns are going to travel to the place where they play cricket, and they're going to be they might as well make a weekend out of it. You know what I mean? You're going to travel, walk 10 miles to go have a cricket game and watch your favorite cricket team. You might as well make a weekend out of it, right? So
I love that. It's just fascinating. It really is. And it's very hard to understand. But once you get, like, something people don't know is that when someone's batting, there's two guys batting at the same time and only one's hitting the ball, okay? Because they have to run from base to base, like, to get points. Yeah. If you hit the ball in the air one time and someone catches it, you're kicked out of the whole game. Like, you're gone. Right. You're not coming back.
Right. Or you can't come back.
You can't. You are done for the rest of the game.
Like dodgeball.
See you later.
Like
yes.
Gone. Oh, so like the best player on a team could be out literally in the
that happened the other night with the Texas Super Kings, who are about to play right now at 5 o'clock Eastern. Their best player was the first to bat, and on the very first ball of the game, he popped it up, and they caught it. They have to catch with their bare hands, so it's not. That easy.
I know that part. Yeah, which is insane. Yeah.
They caught it, and he is gone. Like, he is done. No more batting for you. 0 points, and it's like a huge walk of shame back to like your dugout, right?
Why is it that? Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
It's the fans are so passionate. That's what I love. Yeah. Like, they love the sport and they go nuts.
Well, I have a question. Why is it that like the non-American version of certain American sports are way more badass? Like baseball, you have a glove, you know what I mean? But it's like that. It's like, no, you catch it barehanded. Even think like football versus rugby. It's like rugby, they're not wearing anything. Like those guys don't have ears anymore. Like they have to wear a leather hat to prevent their ears from getting ripped off. And most of them don't even do that. And they still come out looking like Petrarca, our former first-mint guest, MVP of the AFL Super Bowl. They still come out looking super handsome, even though they don't wear anything. Like, why is it the non-American version is like way more badass?
But it's not
like
popular,
way less protective gear.
It's crazy. I hear you. And for me, it's like I don't know if they started this league to kind of get Americans to mainstream the sport. I don't think it'll ever happen, to be honest with you, just because, you know, do people have room to really learn this sport? But I think if they learned it, you would actually see, like, I would love to see a Major League Baseball player take a couple of hacks in the cricket bowl there. And I would love to actually see some of the cricket guys take some Major League Baseball hacks.
Absolutely.
Because some of these swings they have, like, their timing is unbelievable. And, you know, I don't know if you saw you may have been on vacation in LG, but I don't know if you saw the Major League Baseball draft a couple weeks ago. But the Toronto Blue Jays selected the first ever player of Indian descent with their first pick in the first round. He went like 20th overall, and he's from Florida, but he grew up a cricket player because his dad was a gigantic cricket fan. Okay. And then that translated to someone in the U.S. seeing, hey, this kid can really play. Let's see baseball. And then he became a megastar in the high schools in Florida, and now got picked in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft.
I didn't know that. I totally
missed that. In a city like Toronto, I said, man, that's a typical Toronto pick. Okay, the Raptors do it all the time with like, sort of like, look at Grady Dick with the Raptors, right? Like, if the Raptors can't get a top, you know, lottery pick or whatever, they're going with the mean players or the ones that will be appealing to the fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, they love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you might as well. I mean, right? Like, you take a shot in the dark, especially in the NBA. You don't know what you're getting after the. Well, the guy was wearing the Dorothy suit, and the Raptors probably got all like that.
And his name's Grady Dick. Yeah,
he's going to be majorly popular in Toronto.
He already is.
Headline. Look at the headlines. I don't know if you saw them, but there were some inappropriate headlines.
Of course. I think I put out a newsletter with an inappropriate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly like
that. That was me. That was us. That was First Mint. Last thing I'll say about cricket is that I think generally right now in the sports world, there's a lot of attention on popular sports that aren't big in North America, and that might be soon. Like even MLS now is painting this amazing picture of started in the 90s, nobody's going to the games. Took about 10, 15 years before they were able to bring a big star over with Beckham. And then now you have MLS franchises, in the $1 billion mark, right? And we got Messi and stuff. So it's like, I think, and especially with India now being the most populous place in the world, right? But I mean that, right?
No, it is.
Overtaking
it really
China.
is.
It's like there's a lot of Indian people everywhere, right? And I think that that's like a good way to kind of, it's like, and what sport is the most popular there? Cricket. So it's like, it's not, it's 2 and 2. Put that together. It's like it's not hard to see a world where a cricket could really take hold in the Western audience. And if they're doing these types of tournaments, like that's clearly converting some people like you. Right, because they're getting on the North
and I
American
stumbled
streams.
upon it. Like I didn't hear about it, so it's obviously not that huge. But like they're in the middle of Texas and North Carolina, and they are filling the place. That it's sold out every night,
absolutely,
with rabid fans waving
awesome.
Crazy flags. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot, just because it was in North America. And I'm like, okay, if it's called Major League Cricket, like Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, I'm going to give this sport a chance finally, and I'll sit here. And I could not take my eyes off of it. To the point where I'm like, okay, when's the next game? I have to put an alarm for this. I cannot miss this next game. Like, I can't believe that team's playing that team. And now I know all these guys because I sit there and I Google them. Yeah. And I'm like, who the hell is this pitcher? This bowler. It's awesome. And I'm like, oh, he plays for the national team from New Zealand. That's really cool. I don't know. I just find it fascinating. But I'd love to try. It just reminded me of something I wanted to talk about before we move on.
Hold on. We can't start a new topic because we have guests waiting.
Yeah, but really quick comment, because I know we're not going to get to it. I told you weeks ago, LG, that LeBron
we'll have time
James,
after. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, had vanished, because you just talked about MLS. I have to throw this in there. Yeah. LeBron James had vanished. Someone came and DM'd me saying, oh, it's because he's getting hair plugs. So I brought that up on the air and like, whatever. Okay. We don't know if that's true. But sure enough, at the ESPY Awards, LeBron was back. He made a massive announcement that nobody was waiting for, to announce that he is not retiring. Okay.
Wow.
Then I said, listen, this will kick off a huge string of LeBron news now. All right. We're not going to hear the end of this guy.
Yeah.
Sure enough, when Leo Messi was about to make his MLS debut, the person that greeted him on the field, not in the press box, not on the stands, the person that hugged him before he went on the field, for some reason, was LeBron James. For some reason, it was LeBron James. Like, look at this, man. He's about to make his debut
on the bench, but Drake Hollander said, "Look,
oh, that's a warm hug.
Right now
like, what is going on here?
That is a serious hug. Like that's I hadn't seen it. I know you texted me about it, but that's like this is like let's just count. Like okay, they're on each other at the 3-second mark, and it takes that is a 7-second hold for a hug. That's a tier 6 hug.
We'll talk about it after. But somebody asked me and said, "Do they know each other?" I said, "That's kind of the respect, or I think the best at every sport have probably done commercials together or some events together. But it's a mutual respect of being the best of all time at your sport. That would warrant a hug like that, I think, because maybe they've never met. I don't even know, right? But that's
the best currently, or at least both of them, like they're almost the same age, right? It's like at the tail end of their careers, but still very good. And Messi just had his greatest moment yet, right? So,
but of course, LeBron was there. I mean, it doesn't get any.
Well, all the stars were there. That became the trendy place to be, man. Like Serena was there.
Yes. Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian. They're all sitting together. That's actually what I like the most was the picture of all of them together. And it's like they're right behind Messi when he's going on the field.
He looks like he loves it. He looks like he absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
He looks happy there.
Audience.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole new audience.
Different batch.
Different kind.
Totally different batch of celebrities.
They won't boo him. That's for sure. So
yeah, exactly. Okay. Phil, we have some special guests. And we've had a good string of special guests in the last couple months who unexpectedly come onto the show. Part of me wishes I hadn't told you that this was happening, but unfortunately, one of the guests messaged both you and I at the same time. Okay. So there was no way to hide it, but I would have loved to surprise you with this.
Surprises, yeah, but that's okay.
Phil,
I'm anticipating this.
For months now, since like late April on the show, you and I have often discussed NHL Breakaway, the upcoming NFT project collection from the NHL and suite. And we've ranged from excited to impatience and saying, where's the information? Tell us something. Why aren't you doing anything? It's the summer. What's going on? But now, Phil, to clear the air, and actually give us concrete information on when things are going to happen, we have them here live on the show, and they can call us out if they want. They can give a shit if they want. So please welcome for their first mint debut, Matt and Travis from NHL Breakaway.
Wow.
Oh,
hey. Wow.
What's
up, guys?
That's our actual audience clapping, in case you've never seen that. It's a long time ago. So I don't know if those people still listen to the show, but at a point they did. And to the point where they loved it so much that they submitted videos of themselves clapping when we asked them to. So it's half legit. But guys, what's going on? You guys must be exciting week. Let's get a little download. Let's get some intros so people get a little sense of who you guys are.
We're super hyped. And Travis, I cede to you, sir.
Oh, wow. All right.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. Well, Matt's more important. So.
Oh, wow.
Back to
you, it's already a humbleness fest. Be like, no, you're more attractive.
Hey, we're in hockey, right?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys, LG and Phil. I've watched many of your podcasts in the past, and been an NFT collector for a while, and I've always appreciated what you guys do. I joined Sweet about a year ago. I'll try and keep it brief. We could probably get deeper into my hockey background, but I was raised in the sport. I've lived in the sport my entire life, and fortunately, I get to continue working in the sport at Sweet in a different arena, an arena that I love to do very much. I think Matt will provide some more particulars over the course of this interview, based on NHL Breakaway program, but I'll leave it at that. I'll let Matt go.
Travis, when you say you watch past episodes, you mean the ones where we talk shit about NHL Breakaway, right?
Of course. No. To be honest with you, way before that. And by the way, you guys were talking about being impatient stuff. I don't think. Hopefully, it comes across today to understand how much Matt and I, particularly, we work very closely together. We've been as eager and excited, as everybody else, to be able to share this information today. So we're pretty excited.
We're very happy to have you guys. Matt, over to you, man. Tell us about you.
Cool. So I'm Matt Tice, creative and product director of the Breakaway program. I've been at Sweet for about a year and a half now. My background, I've been in tech and different types of emerging and innovative technologies in tech for about 15 or 16 years. I've worked in data, advertising. I worked on 4 to 5 mobile games that have kind of a combined download and reach of about 20 million downloads. So I have like a lot of strong gamification background, and that's where I got really into gamification and behavioral economics, and worked on creator marketplaces. I was at a company called Pearpop for a little bit, and then joined Sweet about a year and a half ago, and have literally been working on NHL Breakaway since I started there.
Nice.
Similar to Travis, I actually started listening to a lot of First Mint podcasts around the time when I joined, doing research. I've listened to a range of a lot of the interviews. You guys interviewed Jane, who used to be a Top Shot, or All Day interviews. I've been following you guys for a while. And similar to Travis, but more on another side, I was also I got into NFTs, but more from always from a learning or research perspective. Like, I wanted to understand the mindset of people who are into NFTs to try to broaden that audience and see what really could transcend the current community that exists. I got really into Solana and have held a range of Solana projects for a couple of years, but have now very primarily focused on kind of taking it beyond what Web3 currently is.
Who told you to listen to First Mint when you joined? You said you did as part of your research. Is there some kind of beautiful template that new people to the industry are sent, and it says listen to First Mint?
No, I mean, I known about you guys before that, and so I was like, oh, now that I'm in this world, this I gotta jump on it, and that's kind of it was a part of my research. I'm as a strong, good product person, that's you do research before you do anything else and start trying to throw around decisions. So I spent about 6 to 8 months just purely doing research on collectors, on a range of different collector communities. Travis and I both were, physical card collectors as kids. So everything we do is kind of inspired by our life experience as collectors and then our research as professionals.
What
And
else
I
did you learn?
came
Oh, go ahead.
across you guys not as a researcher at the time, but just because I was NFT curious, and I honestly, I think it was maybe just through a search on YouTube or something. I came across a podcast and I decided to watch it, and I was intrigued by it, and that's kind of what got me into it. And that was well before I had joined Sweet, so it was pretty cool.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Phil,
I have to say,
we're
Matt,
massive.
Matt, you've been pretty brave, man, because LG is not easy to deal with when it comes to like Discords and private messages. He loves getting super aggressive in Discords. Okay.
Oh, as if you don't, Phil. Phil for a while would go into the Sweet Discord or the NHL Sweet Discord and just talk shit to Habs fans. Like that's
well, there's nothing
he's
wrong
I
with
always
that.
go in there and just mess with the Montreal fans.
But I don't
Like,
mess with them. That's legit. I don't get along with them. I don't get along with them in person,
but
online.
you went out of your way to find them.
But LG, though, for those who don't know, if you don't hang out in the Sweet Discord or the NHL Breakaway Discord or any other Discord, LG will not go in there for like 2 or 3 months. And then all of a sudden he'll snap one day and go in there and ask what the hell is going on. Okay. And I think Maddie, maybe he had a funny story. I hope you don't mind me telling us. So I go in Discord sometimes, and if I want to see what my status is in the Discord, because I don't know how to look it up, I have to write something and then click on my name. Okay. So there was a new role. There was a new role that was being offered the other day, and I didn't know if I did it right or not. So I'm like, I got to type something to click on my own name and see if I got the role. So I go in the NHL Breakaway Discord and I write, wow. Okay. Okay. And I click on my name, and sure enough, I see I have the role. So I'm like, all right, there's not much going on in here right now. I'm out of here. So I bail out of the Discord. Not even like 5 or 10 minutes later, I have a DM from Matt saying, I saw your wow. What's going on? I'm like, this is LG's fault. LG is all over the place, always aggressive towards what's going on next. That the fact that I said anything has Matt wondering what the hell's going on here. So I made me laugh, man. That was hilarious. And I showed LG.
Everyone's on edge when we're involved. That's what it is. When it's anything from you or me, people are immediately like, "Uh-oh." So what happened now? You know,
that's exactly
automatic reaction. Like,
next?
oh no. Why are they thinking about us?
We're genuinely excited though, guys. Like, to be honest with you, it's not like, we especially me, I can't hide my excitement for things. Like when I get excited about something, people know it. I did spend a lot of time in the playoffs in the Discord, just rumbling with everybody, even Leaf fans. Like I would bash the Leafs when I was really pissed off, and then they would get all mad. And I don't know, I just don't get along with hockey fans because I'm so passionate, and I'm very fast to critique people and players and things like that. But that's the passion of a fan base that hasn't been in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals since 1967.
Here we go.
Right? No, we're not getting into all that.
This is going to be your appearance is going to be one, like at the very end of this, you'll just have to spit out all the necessary information. But this is late. This is mainly going to be a Maple Leafs therapy session. Okay, like that's mainly what you guys are here for. Because now I have some hot takes to say about the same topic. But you know what? Maybe I'll just whatever.
But we have to ask Travis though. We have to ask Travis about those jerseys in the back. Because I see the jerseys in the back,
that's a good question.
And I see your last name, and I can't help but think or ask, is there any relation to the great Gordie Howe?
Gordie was my grandfather. My father's Mark, and those 2 jerseys were Christmas gifts from my dad. I think he was just trying to get stuff out of his house, probably, or something. But one is let's see. One is an 87 All-Star jersey.
That's the All-Star game. Yeah, I recognize it.
In St. Louis, which fun story. I won't tell the whole story, but I actually got to skate, not in the game, but in between periods. And I think if I remember correctly, I think I shot on Patrick Waugh. Of course, he let me score.
Wow.
So stuff like that. But and then, another jersey from his Philly days, which he was there for 10 years. So.
For those who don't know, and maybe this is just like a hockey player thing, because I was a big hockey player. LG was a big hockey player, and my son now is a big hockey player, and he's actually the king of this. My son is actually the king of the Gordie Howe hat trick, okay? Which is, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't know what this is. If in a hockey game you score a goal, you have an assist, and you get in a fight, it is called the Gordie Howe hat trick, because Gordie Howe was famous for doing all 3 almost every single game. So it became a big thing. And it's actually still called the Gordie Howe hat trick, even with the younger kids. Like it hasn't died. It's always been a thing. And he's the master of it. So
Not to correct you,
really
Phil,
cool,
but Travis, didn't he only do it twice in his career?
So it's been told. Yes, he's only done it twice, but
nobody actually knows.
Well, one funny thing, he is I think the only guy, well, obviously another guy too, but the only player alongside the other to get a 5-minute major in an All-Star game. So that was
That's
fun.
right. That's awesome.
But he was tough. He was tough for sure.
No,
Yeah,
really cool.
he used to come to a lot of my hockey games growing up, and it always brought out a different side of me where I'd try and show him how tough I was. The next thing you know, I'd spend half the time in the penalty box. So
yeah, mom and dad are like, "What the hell are you doing?"
So maybe to bring it back around to something you said, Phil, like I think one of the reasons, I guess maybe I'm so brave and passionate and so open and candid with the fans and community is that behind the program, you have like Travis and I have met each other a couple of times. First time we met each other was at the All-Star game in Florida. We went there, hung out, and got to go to the game and got to spend a couple of days together, which was awesome. But there, behind this program, there are two people. One, me, who has like this background in gamification, behavioral economics, collectors and fans. And like all I care about is building the best experience for collectors and fans. And then on the other side, we have Travis, who has this like lengthy experience in so many different areas of like hockey as like he was like a coach. He ran a whole program. Like he is like the encyclopedia of hockey, and combined, we are just like this perfect complement of what really should be behind one of these programs. And that's why I think we were so hyped to come on here and finally start talking to people together.
Oh, Matt has like an appointment coming up or something like that. Like we're jamming about hockey, and Matt's like, so anyway, so the program. I gotta go to the dentist in a bit. So let's just talk. Let's just like we just say the thing.
So to call it out, I don't know if video will be part of this, but I am on my couch, and there's a reason for this. I have a broken leg. I broke my leg.
Oh no.
And so I have a broken tibia and ankle that is 3 weeks from being able to have weight on it. So that's why I'm on my couch, just so you know. I'm not
so you can't go anywhere.
Yeah. So I'm not going anywhere. We could talk all day. Like you're stuck with me.
Matt didn't miss any meetings. It was literally minutes before he had to hang up for surgery, and he's down into a call from his hospital bed. So
yeah, there's a legendary a photo that was a screenshot that was circulated of me on a call with the NHL explaining something from my hospital bed, like an hour before I'm going into surgery. And it was a very important call.
That's the most hockey thing you could possibly do.
Yeah,
honestly, just basically play on a broken leg. Like that's right there in the spirit of it, of just being like, I'm fine. You know, it's fine. How did you, Matt, tell us? Can you tell us?
This is what we need to know.
We need to know.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's connected actually to Sweet in some way. We had a offsite in Las Vegas. I got off the plane. I was on the plane with one of my coworkers. We've known each other for a long time. She's like an acrobat, free runner, parkour person in her free time. I used to do free running when I was significantly younger. We start exploring Las Vegas. Literally an hour after we get off the flight, I break my tibia, smash my tibia into my ankle, and split my ankle apart, and end up at the ER in Las Vegas for the rest of the night. And then I showed up to the sweet dinner with my broken leg. But
there you go.
Yeah. I have to ask this. How's the ER in Las Vegas? Like, what kind of stuff did you see there, man?
It's important information.
I can picture like
we all need
Elvis
to know what that's
impersonators
like.
and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff like that.
It was, I am not making this up. It was a very wild scene. It was kind of exactly what you'd expect. They told me they were bringing me to like the good ER, like the best one. And literally like I'm in a staging area on a bed with like 4 other people. And the guy behind me had fallen out of his car, was drunk, and then tried to fight 3 police officers, and he was still drunk. So he was like he was strapped in the chair. He was like, "Why am I strapped in?" He's like, "Sir, you just tried to fight 3 police officers, so you're not getting up." And I was just like, "Where am I right now?"
Yeah, I that's why I asked, because I could imagine Vegas as the ER not being like your regular, I feel sick tonight type of crowd. Like we have here, half the ER is people who bring their entire family and they're like, we don't feel well, and that's it. But so how long are you out for now? A couple more weeks, I guess.
1 more week until I can start trying to swim, and 3 more weeks until I can put weight on it. So I now have a titanium rod through my leg and a bunch of bolts and plates. So my theory is one day it can be stronger if I get back to where I was, but as we'll see. We'll see.
Are you guys partners, or are you Matt's boss? Matt, are you Travis's boss? What's the dynamic here?
We are
What's the
teammates,
dynamic?
actually. So
Teammates. Okay. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah. So Travis moved on to the product team a couple months ago to be close, because like we work on like I work on product features and like the experience, and then we curate content together. We come up with set concepts together. I work on the set art and this like the set design with the design team. So it's like a lot of what we do is so integrated where I would view us as teammates. We are complements.
Nice.
Agreed.
I like that.
Yep.
I like that because your name's Matt Breakaway, and I'm like, hold on, there's no way that's his name. Like you
No,
said your name at the beginning.
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
his
yeah.
name, right? Okay.
That's my Discord name. So I was just playing around, just having fun.
Matt, who's the biggest menace in the NHL Breakaway Discord right now, besides Phil and me? Who's the big menace?
Not us, man.
These are the real questions that community people never answer. Like
well,
people have to
obviously,
manage
it's got to be
Discords.
Habs fans, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
It is, man. They're unbearable. They really are. You need to do something about those guys in there. You can't take it, man. You can't say anything without them coming out of the woodwork.
I won't be specific, but I guess anybody who talks about stuff that isn't kind of fan and collector related are the people who kind of rub me the wrong way, I guess.
Yeah,
I care so much about the quality of the content and the experience that like when the other stuff creeps in, I'm like, that's not for here.
Are you talking hockey stuff or like just random other stuff?
I would say stuff that involves like not hockey talk is great. Like I love hockey talk. I'm talking about stuff that's like not focused on hockey or the content or the collectibles or the fan experience. Like,
okay, so that means that Matt is absolutely furious every time I'm rumbling with these Habs fans about things like contracts and things like that.
No, I think that stuff is super fun. That stuff is super fun. I guess when any of the stuff, any like the typical Deacon Web3 stuff teaks in, that's what I'm talking about.
That's everywhere, though. I mean, you always have a few that are kind of stuck in that world, and they bring it into all the Discords. We
That's
see it
actually I do want to talk about the program, so I will refocus us. Even though Matt, you tried to, and then we talked about your
I wasn't trying to at all. I thought I could wrap that one up nicely.
You really just wanted to talk about the injury. That's what you found a way to trick me into telling us how badass you are. So that
worked
really well.
Yeah.
But an actual question for you guys that I think a lot of people are going to wonder, right? Because we have, our community and a lot of people in the space, sports fans who are degens. We've been through a lot of the other major leagues launching their products. And even for me personally, I'm actually not even sure where I sit as like an NFT collector these days, where it's like, well, there's been times where it's like, okay, yeah, there's obviously a huge speculative asset to stuff, especially NFTs in the past, not today, right? Which is, I think, is perfect for you guys to launch in. But also hardcore sports fan, right? And that by opening the gates, you're going to get a mix of those people. So I don't want you to comment on that. I want you to tell us, like, as you guys have been building this for the last year, who your target demographic is, right? And I mean that from a perspective as well, that even something like NBA Top Shot, we know that the vision is to get it into the hands of every single NBA fan. But at the same time, some of us are like, well, how realistic is that, right? So who's the in-between market that's being built for right now? And what kind of how do you guys approach that? We were thinking about who you want coming into the Sweet community.
I mean, I'll start the answer first, and feel free to jump in, Travis. I mean, for me, there's obviously like, behind the scenes, there's like a, marketing stuff that happens, and you look at personas, et cetera. And there are very specific personas that we focus on first. But from my perspective, like NHL Breakaway is built for fans and collectors first, and everything, all the choices and people who loved collecting any sports collectibles as a kid or do now. And so all of the focus has been, how do we take everything that's been done so far in both the digital collectibles industry and in the gaming industry and in the physical collectibles industry, and weave it all together, up level it in some way to create the most integrated, interesting experience possible that will make every NHL fan proud to be an NHL fan and be like, we have the coolest program ever. Like, this is cooler than anything I've ever seen before. And I believe that if we build that, it's going to resonate with everyone who loves hockey. So there's obviously people we focus on first, but I'm very, one of the things that I loved about Sweet when I joined is how much the team, like Tom and Ray, were so receptive to that approach and that ambition. And so that's how I view it. I don't know if you want to say anything, Travis. But
Yeah. Well, LG, I completely agree with you. And what you first said was, the way I've always looked at it is we're not starting this program off in a hype period. And, the craziness of, just, 24 months ago, or even sooner than that. I think that allows us just to really focus on, fandom and the passion that Matt and I have, as well as the rest of the suite and our, and the partners that we work with, the NHL, the NHLPA, and also the Alumni Association. I think we all collectively want to stay, true to our, values and then just sheer passion for the game, right? Like I think it's the thing that of why Matt and I become such good friends and why I greatly value what he's created in this program is because he gets it. Like he gets the sport. He's learning more every day. He wants to do right, specifically not only for just collectors, but just the NHL community as a whole, hockey fans as a whole, and that's something that I personally appreciate a great deal.
Excuse me. Okay, that is a good answer. A couple months ago, you guys put up program information. I'm going to get into the nitty gritty now because I don't want to forget it. You guys put up a program information, and I think by the time people are listening to this, they're going to have received an update on like edition sizes and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you guys can talk us through, because and I love what you're saying about building something that's really community centric. That's something that's like for the fans that they're really going to love, and that clearly everybody involved is on board with that. You guys have, I think, have already made some adjustments based on feedback. Maybe walk us through that all the way to what people can expect this week.
Yeah, for sure. So I think starting right, we haven't changed like this foundational approach that we've had where we wanted to establish this covenant with collectors really early that edition sizes will never change. And we have some of the initial reaction was like, oh, wow, you guys have a lot of rarity tiers for so early. And the reason for that is each rarity tier actually has specific content rules that determine what rarity something should be. People are kind of tired of me. And that was something I fought for from day one after doing all of my research and being like, there's so many different places where, even with physical cards and digital collectibles, where when you change the rules and move the goalposts for, using a different sport terminology.
We all know where that term is from. We've all know
it definitely like, it isn't fair, right? And it's the thing that, caused the collapse of cards in the 90s. And people are tired of me talking about how I hate parallels. So you'll probably never see parallels in this program.
God. Thank God. Take my money. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. There's no parallels.
But we have this really strong belief of like having this really early covenant with collectors about like these things will never change. And there's a reason. There's a very specific reason we chose to do the things we did and how we designed the program from the beginning. And one of the reasons, like I'm getting to your question, so you know, one of the reasons that we came out with those initial edition sizes is because there's a lot of integration that's planned to happen over the course of the first series and the first season with the NHL, where you're going to see, the NHL being very like, they are all about like backing and having this program be weaved in to the NHL fan experience like we imagine it. And that's one of the reasons they really did their due diligence in picking Suite. That's like one of the things we pioneered with our cure cards and redemptions in arenas and at events. So you're going to see a lot of that as the series unfolds. And that's where those edition sizes initially came from. However, we did also hear the community and understand that like we are still in beta. This is the first pack drop, right? And so what you guys are going to see in the announcement, what your LG is referring to, is we cut most of the edition sizes that we initially announced by about 50%. There's like a couple that are a little bit more than 50%, but generally they're all cut by 50%.
That's right. Like the cores, you originally had them. Just to recap for people who maybe didn't get that information, you have 5 tiers. And the heroic, the 6th one, the heroic varies, but the 5 tiers of core, limited, rare, epic, and legendary. Core you cut down from 3,000 to 5,000, which was the original range, to 1,500. Limited you cut from 1,000 to 500. Rare 500 to 250. Epic 200 to 100, and legendary 25 down to 10. So that's that's more than 50% in some cases.
Yeah,
I know LG loves that. LG absolutely loves that. He does.
You know what? If I had it my way, don't release one. Just release one NFT. That's it. Let everybody fight.
I know what you're thinking about there. But like, and so with the asterisk that comes with that is that those original edition sizes were based on a plan of that, like, in my mind, by the end of Series 1, I think there's going to be significant adoption of this program, and that I want to win over NHL fans across the board with the content we have. So what I think is so special about the collectible, we spent a lot of time on the design of the highlight, and we spent a lot of time with the NHL editing team coming up with the right direction of how you edit these highlights to include exclusive angles of the plays that you could have never seen. You won't see those on YouTube. You wouldn't have seen them in broadcast. There's stuff that only the NHL has and we're using for this program. Then we have pure sounds of the game where we cut out the commentator, and literally you hear the players on the ice during the plays. You hear them celebrating from the mics that they have around the rink, and then you hear the arena sound, and you can't hear that pure sound anywhere. So I think that is going to win over NHL fans. So related to that is that if we see the mass adoption of the program that I'm expecting over the first series, there potentially is the option for us to mint the additional 50% of the highlights as a second edition that will still feel separate from the original edition. So we'll preserve the limited nature of the beta run. But if we need those highlights and it's like, man, this is a nice segue. It's like, I never got a chance to get a pack, to even to buy a pack that had a chance of pulling that Connor McDavid making the mark highlight. I'm not going to go buy it from the secondary. So there's the option for us to do that, but we're not going to do it without talking to the community, and we're not going to do it without really thinking hard about, do we have enough content for the rest of Series 1, or do we really need it? So there is that little asterisk there, but again, it's not something we're going to jump to do immediately. The cool thing about Travis, like the fun part about Travis and my job, is that we are now thinking 6, 8 months, 12 months ahead. We're working on set concepts for October through June. I'm working on gamification features for throughout Series 1. And we're kind of ahead of the game. So like, there's so much cool stuff coming and so much cool content we're working on now that we may or may not need it. So it'll be really like up to us and up to the community to decide, like, is it necessary or not? But for now, and we're always going to make sure that we preserve that original run. So if we do it, they're all going to be marked as like, base second edition kind of style. It's not going to be the same highlight. It's not going to be the exact same collectible. So we will still preserve that kind of original run. Additionally, and this is what kind of created a little bit of created some more time for us. We are adding 3 Making the Mark highlights, which is our first epic set, to these packs. So we have Connor McDavid in our first multi-highlight, where Travis and I spent like multiple rounds with the NHL editing team crafting this I love watching this highlight so much. It like shows what, I'm a huge Connor McDavid fan, and it really shows what's so special about him as a player. And he had an amazing season last year, and there was never really a moment where like he was truly, like, his season was truly celebrated. And so we view the creation of this highlight as a celebration of that epic season. We have Ovi's 800 goal, which I think fans will be super excited about. And we have Patrice Bergeron's 1,000-point goal, or 1,000-point assist, excuse me.
And these are the first, I believe these are the first new players you've revealed, or anything you've revealed since the rookie reveal way back in May, right? Because in May you revealed the first set, Rich, which I think was
not all of it, just partial,
not all of it,
right?
but just a few like examples of some of like the draft picks and rookies that were going to be included in the first. And I think that set was called Opening Ice. Yeah, and you said there'd be 20 players and their first career goals over the last 2 seasons. So these are the first, the McDavid, Ovechkin, and Bergeron. Those are the first 3 non-players outside of that you've so far revealed. I'm assuming between now and Thursday you'll reveal more, or maybe people find it in the packs.
So we also revealed the base set. We revealed I think 6 players from the base set. Yep. And then also to your point, with that announcement, we're revealing everyone you can find in Opening Ice, base, and the 3 players from Making the Mark. Making the Mark is actually there will be it'll be a larger set, but we're kind of introducing these 3 first. And then you'll be able to find more over the coming drops.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot there was that other when you revealed the rarity tiers, you also put a couple players out for the base set, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. A question for Travis that I think, especially a lot of the hardcore sports fans, I've seen that this is something that they actually really, really care about when it comes to these collections, that they should. How do you pick these? Right? Like making the mark. I mean, those are obviously, that's what we want. We want
Sure.
McDavid's record season. We want Ovechkin's milestone. But how do you go about curating that kind of stuff? Right? Like, what's
Sure.
that process? What's your giant Google sheet of thousands of plays?
Well, there's definitely
thousands of hours. How do you do
I have
that?
spreadsheets for sure.
Yeah,
I get picked on about it all the time. Look, I mean, it's there's a lot that goes into a selection. And by the way, we're not releasing anything at this point, but we're also working on historical collections and things like that as well. In the future, obviously, with our relationship with the NHL Alumni Association. So
you're telling me you're going to release the Felix Potvin Hextall fight from 1993? It's the only thing Phil wants. Phil had Phil cut out the Toronto Star poster of that, of like Ron Hextall all bloodied up from Felix Potvin. That's the only thing Phil wants.
As my dad was a teammate of Hextall's for years, I witnessed a lot of fights over the time. I witnessed him jumping Chelios when he was in Montreal and everything. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Lots on him, right? But no, I mean, in terms of everything we've looked at, obviously we want to capture anything of like major significance, obviously milestones, something that's should be celebrated, that's kind of widely celebrated. But as you dive further into that, it's not just about trying to capture a quote unquote exciting play, but I think what maybe elevates something a little bit more is is there something of a little bit more significance to it? Was it a game-winning goal? By the way, was it you're not saying that a hockey highlight collection be full of defensive plays, but what was there an amazing defensive play that created something that was of big importance, right? So I think there's just, and we want, by the way, we also want to make sure that we're not just capturing the top 15 goal scorers every. We want to celebrate guys that make are known for their playmaking abilities. We want celebrate goal, and or another example is goalies in the saves. I mean, occasionally there are goalies that make this unbelievable save, and if you just capture on YouTube and it looks awesome for 10 seconds, but then the reality is if you're watching the game is they're losing 7-1, right? They made a save with a minute to go. And so that to me personally is not that exciting really when you factor that in, versus maybe a goalie that made a save and contribute towards the win.
Thanks for saying that. Nothing drives me crazier than some other NFT ecosystems when it's like, look at this amazing highlight, and then it's like game score, they lost by 40 points. You're just like, all right, well, that's nice, but kind of meaningless in a way. So I think that's
has to be insanely unbelievable for us to even like collectively here to even want to watch it, right?
Funny you say, because who else used to do that? Who actually did a really good job of that over the years? I don't know if you guys, what your experience was with Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em videos, but Don Cherry would always have this section called saves or whatever, and then that's when the kids would be like, "Oh, screw this!" Like, no, how do we fast forward?
I think kids were. But I liked watching.
He did a great job of always including not just random saves, but actually saves that had some kind of meaning, because he would always throw in something like just stole the game with that save, or it would be a huge, like you said, if it was one of the saves of the year, didn't matter what the situation was, it would be in there, but they would always have some significance to the point where we still watched it. Everyone would be like, saves, like instead of fights and big hits, but you'd still watch them and you'd actually remember them because they had significance. And like LG said, unlike other ecosystems who, will send you stuff that, is in a 40-point loss, which gives away where it comes from. But
no, well, some of those, it's a different nature though. I think it's a different nature. You know what I mean? It's a different sport. And what I will say is I never really thought about this until you were speaking, Travis, but I think hockey and baseball are the only two sports where the defensive plays can actually be really great highlights. And totally, basketball does have some, right? LeBron block is a legendary event, but not on the regular. Like, you don't watch a game and in the highlight pack, they're like, okay, let's go to the blocks. You know what I mean? Or the steals, or even NFL, defense matters so much.
Mhm.
But if a quarterback gets sacked, it's more about the quarterback messed up or the offensive line messed up than the defense did well. You know what I mean? Like, it's very few. The notable defensive plays and players are few and far between in terms of what fans like. But in the NHL, like Phil's saying, it's like, yeah, in Rock'em Sock'em, there was a section for goalies, right? And even now, few things are respected more in the NHL world than players putting their bodies on the line, blocking shots in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Getting like their ankles
Always
broken, wrist
sacrifice
broken,
somebody.
face broken. Like that's like one of the, the top things you can. That's
I've
most
never met a
respectable,
fan that
notable
doesn't
things you can do.
appreciate that. Like,
Exactly, right? So it's like defense is important in all sports, but in hockey, I feel like it is notable to the everyday fan more so maybe than in all other sports, right?
I think I'd finish with just by saying, what really factors in a lot of what, Matt and I look at is, I like to think, would a player remember this a year from now? Like, for example, opening ice and your first goal, you never forget your first goal, right? That's something special. By the way, whether it was an amazing shot, an amazing goal, or the goalie should have made the stop and it went in, I mean, it's something you never forget. And at least for, some of the more special moments, we'd like to think that the player would think about that. And by the way, Matt's probably tired of me talking about Nick Lidstrom. He was one of my favorites growing up, aside from my dad. But and what an amazing, let's call him legend, really one of the best ever to play in terms of defensive position. But he wasn't an exciting player in the terms that, like, for me, I was excited to watch him, but he wasn't full of like highlights, right, for YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So how do we display him in the future? If we did something with him as an example, how would we display him to show his greatness, which, by the way, involved his amazing defensive, plays. So that's the way we look at it.
When you guys see the list of the base set, there's one amazing defensive play in it that we like worked curating on for a while, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what Travis was talking about. And so
nice.
with how we've curated the content, it's all about, like, not only talking about, like, showing these exclusive angles and this pure sound from the ice, but about how can we, if you're a hardcore hockey fan conducting this stuff, how can we show you that, even the description, a lot of the descriptions are written by Travis, or like they're honed with the NHL team. So it's like, is there anything we can teach fans, even if you feel like you know everything about the sport, or if you're a casual hockey fan, how can we bring some of that knowledge and teach you things with the collectibles themselves and really deepen the appreciation that fans have for the sport? And so I think that it should be evident once you guys really see the full content.
I have a question for you that you probably can't answer, because I think we've kind of reviewed most of the information that's available this week. So here's a question deep into the future that if you say the wrong thing, the community will like absolutely roast you in the future.
He's ready.
Yeah, Matt's like, I've been waiting to be on the hot seat like this for years. Do you think NHL Breakaway will ever follow the path of working with a notable player to promote the product? Is that something you guys have discussed? And again, thinking about a lot of the other products have followed a similar path. Is that something where you would, pine for a McDavid or anybody else really to be the face of the product?
The face of the product? I mean, that would be
or ambassador or some, I don't know, enough for them to put on their Instagram.
I mean, as a huge fan of these players, and seeing how other programs have done that, both in the physical collecting space and the digital space, like, that would be a dream of mine. Like, I would never shy away from that, right? Like, there's been players on talk shows talking about digital products, right? Like, why would you not want that, right? But I think it starts with really the fans and the collectors, and then we see where it goes. Like, we have partnerships with the league, the EPA, and the AA. So, like, that's not out of the question, right? It's not what we're doing right now, but it's also, I would love to see that personally.
Travis, random trivia question for you. How many Norris trophies did Nick Lidstrom win? without looking. Okay.
Wow. He already answered you.
Okay. Speculative questions. How many points will Connor Bedard score this year?
I love that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've
heard
everything.
Let's go with
for this
60. Let's go with 60.
Oh,
That's
you're on
it?
that boat.
Just 60?
There is nobody
I know.
in the middle between 60 and 100. Okay. I'm serious. I've heard all the debates, and everyone's on one side of the two. There's nobody with 70, 80, 90. It's all 100 like Sid did in his. I think Sid had
and Ovechkin together. They had like
Yes.
105 and
That's right.
103.
Yes,
or
yes,
something
yes,
like
yes.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's no one in the middle. It's all 60, and some are like maybe below 60 or 100. There's no in between. So that's actually a good question.
That's a great question. Yeah.
I like that. That'll be a debate that'll rage until forever. He's actually coming to Toronto in his first week in the NHL.
Hey.
That'll be a circus and a half. So I'm excited.
All I know is I'm gonna get it dead wrong because my two favorites to win the cup were Boston and Edmonton. So you know how I did there. So.
But that's how the NHL's always been. No matter, I don't think I've ever come close, as big of a fan as I am in the bracket challenge. I've never even come close to the point of picking the two finalists ever. And I don't even pick the Leafs every year. Like, don't think because I'm such a big Leafs fan that I pick the Leafs all the way to the end every single year. I do sometimes.
Phil, when the Blues won a couple years ago, they were like in last place on January 10th. Like
that's
it's
right. Yes, that's
that's what's fun about the NHL is that
that's
like
the beauty of the NHL,
nothing's guaranteed
compared to other
team,
sports, right?
No matter how
beauty.
good or bad the team is.
I love that.
That's what's super
everybody's
fun.
got a shot. I love that.
Gentlemen, anything else we need to know about Breakaway before we let you go?
Yes, there's a couple of very important things. Very
Oh,
important
one
things.
more thing.
So,
This guy's got he's got the Steve Jobs one more thing.
no, there's just some stuff. Like I said, I've been working on this for so long, and we've created. I've talked a little bit with you, LG, about the pack opening experience, right? I think anyone who has ever enjoyed any pack opening experience on like your favorite video game, or like I think our pack opening rivals what you'd expect in like a AAA video game. Anyone who has ever enjoyed opening a pack ever, I would highly recommend going into it without this first drop is your one chance to go into it without knowing what's going to happen. My expectation is that after the pack opening happens, people are going to be sharing it everywhere. You're going to see it on Twitch. You're going to see it on YouTube, and you won't have a chance to do it fresh. And so that would be my only recommendation is like, if you enjoy opening packs, do it without knowing what's going to happen because it's going to be really cool. I promise.
Can we do one right now? Did you bring one?
I wish we could. I wish we could. And that's one thing. Do it, and unfortunately, that I have to say this. Do it in Chrome on your desktop. There was some new. So the new version of Safari has some weird issues that, as just like it's just messing with the experience.
Safari.
Like they're gonna fix it, but don't do it in Safari. We see a lot of people using Safari on the site. I'd recommend. I don't have any we don't have any partnership with Google or Apple, but right now it works better in Chrome than it does in Safari. So just saying, if you want to get crack open your favorite beverage, sit down and get ready for like an epic experience. That's
what's your favorite beverage, Matt?
What's my favorite beverage?
What's your celebratory pack drop goes off, insta sellout. Everyone's so stoked. Everyone's posting all these pack openings. You're sitting there with your leg. What are you
finally got
there? What's going down?
You're sitting there with your leg.
I don't know. What else is he doing? He's not going to the bar.
Oh my God.
As Travis know, I would probably want like a spicy margarita, perhaps.
Ooh,
spicy
margarita.
Wow. Get festive,
Wow, Travis, what are you having? What's the celebratory drink? Bevy.
Hey, I actually that sounds pretty good right now. Spicy margarita. I'll go.
Wow.
Why not?
All right.
Wow.
I mean, in Vegas, I was sitting there with my broken leg, and we were sitting at this this hidden ski lodge bar in the Cosmopolitan. I don't know I think they just call it ski lodge. It's like, and we were having spicy margaritas, talking about highlights.
Oh, so you stayed in Vegas past the leg thing?
I
did.
You
just stuck it out.
Wow. He went back to the bar right after. You went back to the parkour gym right after and finished it and did his jump again and nailed it.
Oh my God.
I stayed in Vegas for 2 days with just marinating with a broken leg.
Yeah, well, you weren't missing that experience. I think I'd be on the same level as that. You're not going home. That's true hockey player right there. I love that.
They were like, it's not life threatening. Just go get it fixed somewhere else. And I'm like, I have to fly back to LA. I'm stuck here. What's going on?
It's like every
Phil,
hockey player, when they get injured and they're told hey, 3 months you're out. They're like, yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks or I'll be back for playoffs no matter what. And they usually are. So I love it.
Phil, I'm going to remember those words that you just said now for whenever First Mint Fest 2 happens in Vegas. I'm going to remember what you said about powering through it because who knows what's going to happen when we all get together again. Guys, any last words before you take off into the Sunset.
got anything,
I thought I had a good
Take off
ice
on the
pun there, but-
Zamboni. Yeah.
Take off on the Zamboni. That's a much better one. Yeah.
No, I say, guys, I just want to say thanks for having us. You know, in person, it was a lot of fun. I hope I look forward to hearing from both of you about your experience and from from the
In
community
the
and everybody
Discord
else.
specifically, right? You want
Of
us to
course.
write it in all caps in the Discord, whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yell,
absolutely.
yell your excitement and enthusiasm
Indeed.
to everyone.
I do have one question for you guys, because I was
Oh.
asked this many times while discussing this with my two kids, who are now 14 and 18, turning 19, both hockey players. And they've been in the space for as long as I've been, because they've been intrigued by all of this. Will they be allowed to purchase? Because with other, because this
question.
came up, this would never actually brought up when Top Shot came out. And I don't know if you know the story or not, but my daughter
here we
ended
go.
up, she had a wallet, she bought stuff, and then they told her, you're not allowed to be on here because you're not a certain age. So she had to just kind of shut down the entire account. I know they're excited about it. Is there anything you can tell us that I can tell them when it comes to age restrictions to be part of pack drops and things? Because teenagers are excited. Let's be honest. They love this kind of stuff. And I thought it was unfortunate for others to kind of, clock them out, because they're really into sports, sometimes more than us adults, right? Especially sports like the NHL. They both love the NHL. So
I'm honestly
I'll
going to
get
have
back
to
to
get
you.
back to you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get back
Matt
to you
does.
on that.
I could tell. I was like, Matt doesn't know.
yeah.
Well,
going
I'm
through all the rule books and everything. So man, I don't know if we covered that.
I could see all the
Yeah.
calculations going. Like in Hangover when the
Because
guy
it's usually
learns,
a
like, all
legal thing,
the
right?
blackjack
That's why.
counting.
So
Yeah.
I
I see
understand
everything
that.
going,
I get it.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally get it. Yeah. It usually comes down to
There's
legal.
likely a
so.
legal restriction, but I mean, if dad is setting it up with the credit card, right? Like, if it's your account, it's probably fine, right?
Oh wow.
Wow,
Right.
not
We
allowed.
won't
That.
suggest
Note
that.
from legal, not allowed to say that. We're gonna get that DM in like 20 minutes from now. Please remove that part from the podcast.
That's
Oh
right.
no, that was more just a joke. I honestly, like, I've
Don't not
either
financial
way.
advice. Don't do
yeah,
what
no,
Matt said.
not financial.
They'll be excited either way, and they'll definitely want to see what's up. So that'll be pretty cool too.
Is there a pack limit for how many packs we can buy?
That's a great question.
see it.
I believe it is 10
Oh,
Per transaction, or do you have to get in? Is there a line you have to get into every time? Or how does it work?
per transaction.
Per transaction. Is there a queue? How's it going to work? Like if 20,000 people show up on Thursday and you only have a couple hundred packs, what happens?
LG was sending these guys off. He didn't even ask the important questions like that. Like, come on.
Well, I'm just thinking
we want
now,
to know
like,
if we're going to be rumbling with people or if it's going to be easy.
I told
for
you
us
all
to
the
do
important information is going to be in 1% of the segment. Okay, I told you that in advance. This is
For
that
the-
1%.
For the first drop, there's no queue. It's going to be pretty limited in terms
I love
of
that.
beta users
I love
and
that
in
so
terms
much.
of packs.
Oh, okay.
But there
People who
will
signed up for the
eventually.
beta.
Mhm.
Yeah, as the program opens up, we're already working on a queue integration for sure.
How much?
It's okay. We don't need a queue right away. We love the old days of just fighting things out, people being furious,
Clicking the
all that.
button as
We
fast as you
love that.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, getting error messages. That's all part of the fun. So we love that.
Don't say that. You don't know they're going to have error messages, Phil. No, you can't say that. You can't say that, man.
That's my
There's
vibe.
some solid. We've done like I said, we took a little bit more time with getting this first dropout, and it was because we're trying to push boundaries in all different ways, and we wanted to make sure, even though we're in beta, even though this is just the first drop, that the first foundational experience is as strong as possible for the founding fans. And so I think everyone will be pretty satisfied with the experience, and there shouldn't be too many issues. But we're gonna find out together, right?
Yeah,
And we built this to like you guys have seen so far. We really want to hear from fans. We really want to build this with collectors. We have an extensive roadmap there's a grand vision behind all of this, but it's going to be informed by everyone's experience and feedback. So as you've seen, we're not opposed to changing things or making modifications, but we very strongly believe in the original vision and strategy at the same time. So
Well, we were furious for a long time that this wasn't going to happen before the end of the season, right? We were like, man, what the hell? We're so excited. It's playoffs right now. Nothing's happening. But I'm not going to lie. As we head into August now, we are turning a corner when it comes to hockey at all levels, where people are starting to think, even the young kids are like, all right, camps are starting up now, training camps, rookie camps. That's all happening right now. Development camps in the NHL.
Do my skates still fit me?
Exactly.
That's every parent has to go through that at this time.
The schedule's out for
Yeah.
next season. The draft has happened. So we made it through kind of the dead period where we were just like, man, this is going to suck that this doesn't happen before that. And now we're heading towards the season. So I think the timing is actually pretty good and really worked out in your favor, because we all know how it is. Once you hit August, and it all falls back to football, usually training camps start. And then people start getting into fall sports mode, which includes basketball, hockey, and football, right? They all come together. It's the greatest time of the year, aside from the last greatest time of the year, which is when the playoffs are happening, and all the sports are starting up again. So I'm really excited, because I'm already excited about the next hockey season. And they're starting to talk about it. It's all over TV. Every segment on TSN every night is talking about some hockey team here and what's going on. There's drama everywhere. As players are reporting for mini optional camps. I think the timing's perfect.
And everyone's super hyped to speculate on Bedard, right? Like, what's he going to do this year?
Oh, man,
everyone's hyped about going to like the first Hawks game when it's away to see him play.
Right. Yeah.
And I think there's a nice complement to a lot of the themes of the first series of Breakaway is all about firsts. So like you see opening ice is all about first goals from.
I think it's great, man. I love that. I love that, because if it was just a random drop saying, hey, here's some, great plays from last season, it's like whatever. But for it to be a player's first goals is almost like owning a rookie card when you were young, because rookie cards, you couldn't show the first goal when you were holding a physical. You just, if that was the first card ever, that was it. That was cool. Yeah. But in this space, when you have videos, if the first moment to ever come out, and they call it the rookie moment, is like a random play in the player's 81st game of the year, it doesn't really mean much, right? But to score your first goal and to own that, I think, man, is a tremendous set to open with. Whether people, have household name players, some of those are not household names to a lot of people, but they eventually will be, right? And I think it'll gain value over time. Like Matty Beniers, you ask a lot of NHL fans, they're like, who the hell's that, right? Just because he's in Seattle, he didn't come in as the guy supposed to win the Calder. You know what I mean? Like
We'd have to be so late to watch him if you're on the East Coast too, right?
That's right. You don't ever see Matty Beniers, and we don't know who he is, and he turned out to be the
Jake
best
Sanderson in Ottawa. It's a smaller market team.
Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I mean, but in these
just
markets, right? These are names in some of these markets, right? Like Dallas fans love Wyatt, right? Or like to your point, Senators fans love Jake. And I became like a Matty Beniers fan, being like a fan of the Kraken a bit. If you notice, my profile picture places is literally me standing in front of the Matty Beniers puck at the All-Star game, and we were actually working on the set at that point. So like to your point, one of the things that we talked about is like, we both like, we're physical card collectors as kids and still are. And so it's like, how can we recreate that magic and fun of the rookie card in a new way? And that's what this was all about. So it's cool that it translates for you, because that's what the whole intention was.
That's what's been missing for me anyways, is you collect rookies, but what's on there doesn't mean anything, right? It's a random play. It's a great play. Maybe it's just random. It's not their first ever, which I'll be honest, I haven't even seen probably a lot of these guys' first ever goals. And this will be the first time that I see them, as big a hockey fan I am, right? Like this will be my first experience watching that first goal. And I'm kind of excited for that. So
what's special about first goals too is that the player wants to keep the puck, and that's very cultural, right? And that's kind of like, again, similarity to baseball. Like, first hit, first home run. Well, first home run's harder to keep the ball, but first hit, at least they can keep the ball. But it's like other, even like first basket in the NBA. What's like they don't stop the game and take the ball away. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know what happened to that ball, right? But you know what I mean. But in hockey, it's very cultural that it's like, all right, that player scored their first goal. Go get the puck, give it to the trainer.
And for me, what's exciting too is the is the players' general reaction, the teammates' reaction, right?
Yeah.
Like authentic reaction to how excited they are for their teammate.
The sellies.
Those are all hockey traditions that go way back, and they're almost every level of hockey is like.
Or when
that.
If you hadn't seen already, when you see Bergeron's 1000th point, which was an assist. It's really cool, in my opinion. It's really cool to see Brad Marchand's reaction, like
of course,
authentic reaction to one of his, his longstanding teammates. Like it's just it's what makes it special, in my opinion.
Watch how much Bruins hockey you talk about. We're not big fans here. We have major issues with the Bruins just because of our history with them. So when I hear those names, as much as I appreciate them as players, I think nothing bothers me more than hearing names from that team. So we've had a major PTSD with the Bruins.
Bergeron's a free agent now, so
he's doing
right. He'll join the long line of veterans that the Leafs signed for one season and then canned because it didn't have immediate results. And just join that long lineage. Okay, I have a very important question for you. How quickly, do you guys plan to mint in season? Like Connor Bedard scores his first goal, October 12th or something like that. is that something that we're going to see quickly after, or is it something that comes in the next series? How are you going to manage that?
So, I mean, good question about the future. And I guess I can disclose that there is a plan. So there are sets that exist. They're fully curated from end to end, right? We have opening ice coming out, and it's the full thing. But over the course of next season, yes, like a lot of these sets are designed to build on each other. And so you may see some kind of, opening ice expansion where it's either like a separate like mini set that builds over the course of this season, or a lot of them, we originally designed most of the sets to build. So you'll see sets that come out full, and you'll see sets that build over time.
That's cool. Because as soon as he scores that first goal, I already know. I don't even need to go in the Discord. I don't need to go in your DMs. I know what people are going to be asking, like LG said. You're going to have randoms who actually will come out of the woodwork and don't even know what's going on, and will join the Discord and be like, all right, what's the deal? Where do we get this thing? Right? Yeah. That'll be the first question you get. That'll be a big one, actually, because he's considered a generational player. We don't even know. Like, from everything we've seen, he's supposed to be at every level of hockey. The guy's even playing, I don't know if you guys saw, he's playing roller hockey right now with a couple of the other guys.
I didn't see that.
That's wild. I can't imagine why you guys are still doing that. But yeah, that'll be a big moment for you guys. And like I said, for me, I don't know what it is with hockey. I'm just more excited about hockey than anything else. Maybe that's just
This is right after Phil's been watching 3 hours of cricket for 10 days in a row. And then all it takes, quick convo with you guys, and he's like, all right, fuck cricket. I just want some hockey.
Well, I mean, there's
instantly.
Well, it is mid-July.
Yeah. From my perspective, there's nothing like going to a real hockey game and seeing it live. Like, it's great on TV, but like the intensity of being there in the moment there's nothing else like it, at least in my opinion. So,
Matt, how can people pay for the packs?
With their credit card
and nothing else. No crypto.
No crypto. Not for this drop. You remember like a long time when we first started talking, LG, you were like, oh,
I've never met you.
We were going back and forth in like
secret conversations.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, that was a public one. We were going back and forth in a comment thread. And I was like, it needs to be more accessible. And you're like, no, people should pay with crypto. And I'm like,
that's LG says that for everything, no matter what. I'm the complete opposite. Like, forget that. Let me pay with my damn credit card, man. That's what got me in the first place. As soon as things started being crypto, I'm like, I can't buy this. I'm not buying it. Sorry. Let's be honest, LG. Most NHL fans, when they hear about this, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, I got all this ETH stash. Let me use that. They're going to be like, what the hell is ETH? If you survey every NHL fan that comes onto the platform looking to buy a moment or pack, I can guarantee if you survey them, most of them don't even know anything about crypto. So
luckily they don't need to.
There you go.
Ooh, nice. Is there the word NFT isn't anywhere in the marketing, is it?
It's
all digital collectible.
I mean, our official designation is like the official, and it's in that official wording. Yeah. But I view this as more like these are digital collectibles first, and they happen to be on a blockchain for a lot of different reasons, right?
I think that's I think that's like that is the approach, right? Like I think that's what makes the most sense. Like the idea of NFTs being like its own like market that you get into and all that kind of stuff, like that is going to have its lifetime, but it's like otherwise it just becomes a layer that people use, right? So I think I'm really excited for you guys. I think you've done your research. I think you're launching it at honestly like the most ideal time, where the people that are still here are the people that actually like really care about the space, and especially the sports fans that are highly invested themselves in the idea of digital sports collectibles, right? So I think you're going to collect a really good core fan base, and you get to go after everybody else, right? And that's really helpful. Like that's an ideal spot because you get to see what other collections have done and done well, not done well. It's kind of like when you go to a scary slide at the water park and all your friends go first and then you go last.
Exactly. And I mean, I guess
you have the most fun because of it. You have the most fun. You know that you should go backwards on the tube or whatever. And
I'm honestly excited for NHL fans because I think we've created a product that showcases the sport in like no other way, and that like I think fans are going to be proud of NHL Breakaway and calling it their own, and will embrace it. And I don't know, but I personally want to change the industry. Like people in are probably tired of hearing it at Sweet, but like I'm all about the fan and collector, and that's all I care about. And I think we have the opportunity to be the next generation in so many different ways, and you guys will see it to believe it. But
That's great.
That's my mission. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that.
Love that.
I have to
Awesome.
say, you guys, we're going to have to circle back with you guys eventually, because we are planning we've been planning this for 3 years now, but we're planning a massive hockey game that will feature the First Mint versus OTM, which is on the moment.
Yeah.
And we've been planning this forever, to the point where people are aligning themselves as to who they will play for. People in the space have been telling us, all right, I want to play for you guys. And we're almost like, hey, what's your background in hockey? All right, cool. Yeah, you played junior. You're playing with us for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have tryouts for our team.
But we'll definitely have to circle back, because I feel like involving you guys would be a must with this. Maybe you could even, Travis, you might even be able to get Nick Lidstrom to come out with like Jaromir Jagr and play. You know,
let's give him a call.
Yeah, actually, does Nick still play? Does he
I
still
don't
play
know.
hockey?
I don't know. That's a good question.
He probably plays like beer league.
I know his son plays
wherever
hockey
he
and
is.
stuff, but he's over in Sweden now. But he comes back from time to time because he's been doing some stuff with the Red Wings.
One of the things that stunned me the most when I watched a celebrity game, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, was when I found out that Wayne Gretzky has literally not played hockey since his last NHL game. And he always tells people, I don't want to play because I would be brutal. I'm not like all these other guys. I literally have not laced up skates since that day. Like, I haven't played.
Coached though. He did coach.
That's right. That's right.
And he played in the.
And he must have gone on the
Classic.
ice for that.
Right?
Yeah,
He played in the Heritage Classic, the first outdoor game, the Oilers and Habs. He played it. They had all the oldies play in that game.
What he means is he doesn't play as much as some of these other guys, because a lot of the beer leagues here, even in Toronto, you've got all these former NHL guys in the highest level of men's hockey, and they're all still playing, right? Obviously. I mean, you don't stop playing hockey. But yeah, Wayne Gretzky kind of said, I would suck in these games. But I never believed him. Because as much as I don't play regularly, every time I step out there, I still have, some of my game. And he's too competitive. I agree with that. So, we have to set something up with you guys for sure. I think you guys would have to be a part of that.
You better watch out. Travis is great at roping people in. Even his, he was, while we were working on curating sets, he even roped in his dad to get some like opinions on stuff.
Wow.
Gotta watch out.
I could talk hockey all day long, all night long. I've lived it
so
my whole life.
We're in danger of doing that right now. I think
So wait, you feel? I think maybe Travis could be the coach of Team First Mint.
Hey, I think he wants to play though.
Or GM. No, he'll be the GM. He'll be the GM. He's in charge of recruiting as many NHLers as possible for our little hockey game against OTM. He's the GM.
That's great. That'd be cool. And then Well, we'll have to circle back.
Yeah. All right, guys. I've said goodbye to you like 6 times now, so we'll do it for real.
But there's just one more thing.
One more thing. There's one of the sets is called the First Mint set, and we talked to your parents, and we got videos of you when you were 6, and it's a set in Breakaway. Right? No,
nobody would buy that.
Anyways, all right, guys. Great to chat with you guys. Good luck this week.
Thank you,
and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. I can't wait to hear what you guys think on Thursday.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're really excited. Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Thursday. It's happening.
I'm ready.
This Thursday.
Let's do it.
27th.
Bam. Breaking news.
Okay, I can't, like, I could kick you out of the thing.
No, you can't. You're gonna have to kick me out.
I'm out.
Like,
I'm
we're gonna continue doing the show after. So it's like you can you can stay in like the green room part and watch. Yeah, Travis has been trying to leave for 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I have nowhere to go.
Dentist appointment.
Yeah, Matt has nowhere to go. He's still gonna stick around.
He's also in Detroit, which is it's like what, 5 your time, Travis?
Oh, it's later. Yeah,
it's like it's dinner time, man. I'm on the West Coast. So.
I'm less than a 4-hour drive to Toronto.
Wow.
Watch out.
Is that a threat to Phil?
No, that's not a threat. That's
Phil.
That's the GM speaking right there, saying.
Oh, that's the GM. Yeah, he could be there in 4 hours to convince you to be on the team. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
All right,
guys.
We're really leaving.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Nice
You can leave for real.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, I was gonna say Matt. I guess Matt probably could have stayed. Not that Travis couldn't, but Matt could have stayed to talk all the other.
No, he'll have enough of you in the next week in that Discord. I'm sure you'll be all over the place.
Why me? Why
you laughed too when I got that DM from Matt? I was laughing so hard, man. I was like, all I did was say wow, and like the alarm bells went off as if like something had happened. I'm like, wait, hold on, you're asking me what happened? You tell me what's going on. I don't have any breaking news. But that's because I really don't know how to look up my roles on Discord unless I write something. So I'll always go in there and be like, oh wow. And then people are like, what? And I click on my name and I see what's going on, right? So
I I think it's really interesting
I'm
that they're
excited.
launching. You know what I mean? I think like obviously I think they're checking all the boxes, right? They're saying all the right things, they're doing all the right things. I hope the drop goes smooth, right? I hope people do like these. I hope they do get like the legit fans that they want, right? I think that all that's important. I think they're very in a good position to do all that. But part of it is still like, man, we are at like the bottom and they're launching, which is good, which is really good and also like kind of
Scary
at the same time. Well, I don't know if it's scary because they're only dropping like 300 packs of each kind on Thursday. Right. Like they're not like that's a very limited amount. They're not trying to sell 40,000 packs for $500.
No, which is great.
Like,
I mean, that's
super greedy.
That's good.
You know what I mean? They're doing it's 300 inaugural opening ice packs for $59 each and 450 founding fan base packs for $9 each. Like that is a very humble drop. And I think that that's really smart because the strategy is just to sell out. They're not trying to make millions here or anything like that. The strategy is to sell out. So I think they're approaching it the right way. And if anything, I think it's good. Like things are fucking boring right now in NFTs, right? Like there's not much going on. People are talking about the weirdest, most boring stuff. All the other sports are dormant or kind of redundant. And it's like, I think this will be really refreshing.
But the hype, like I said to them, the hype is on the verge now of listen,
NHL.
Summer,
yeah.
You know, a lot of people love summer, but you have those people that are like, I can't wait till summer's done because that means the NFL's back, college football's back, the NHL, the NBA. And they actually start thinking about it right near the end of July. When we're about to turn that August corner is when they start thinking about it. And we're almost there. So I think I really think it's a great time for them to drop. Because I told these guys straight up, we were like, okay, you guys are going to miss the boat of all the hype for the playoffs here, the NHL playoffs, which are starting in April, right? If you don't do it now, we were hoping they don't do it during the Stanley Cup Finals. We're like, that's too late. All right. Even we're not watching at this point. Like it's overkill, right? If you're not going to do it at the very start of the playoffs when everyone's losing their minds, then let it slide till next season.
The only other time is start of the season, right? And
start of the season or now.
Phil, I can't believe that the only past guest that Matt referenced was Janie from Top Shot. I like it of all the names, hundreds of people from the space we've had on. He was like, you guys had Janie on. I listened to that. And it was like, oh.
Well, she was kind of in a position similar to his, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Right?
At the time it was important. I just think
if you were going to go back and see what kind of bullshit you or I were to bring up with people, you would pick an episode where someone in a similar role went on and either got grilled or questioned or whatnot. But I think they were great. I think it's great. I really like their dynamic. I do. Travis with the hockey background. Right away when I saw Howe in the back and I saw his name Howe, I'm like, there's definitely a connection there. I did not know it was grandson, right? Which is really cool. And then Matt, what can you say about Matt? I mean, he's been, if there's one thing about Matt is his passion to make this right and to do it right is almost second to none. Do you know what I mean? From what we've seen, it's not just, hey, we're listening to the community, but the higher ups are making the final call. So sorry, we couldn't help you in the end. They've actually listened to the community on many occasions. And you and I have both chimed in the past on what we think, and they take it seriously. Right. And I think, I think they really want this to work. So does everybody usually, right? I don't know how much, NHL wise, people who are not already in the space will care just yet. But I'm really excited to see if they can be the ones to kind of finally figure out that marketing aspect and how to get your casual NHL fan to want to collect these. Because we've seen everybody try, and it's been a difficult kind of run. Like, before the NFL season last time when NFL All Day was announced, we were like, oh man, can you imagine when everyone goes to an NFL game, all 80,000 people, and they see the booth there, they're all going to buy. But it doesn't work like that.
No, and All Day even did they literally did that. Remember at the Rams game?
Yes,
they put the bracelets and nobody came. Nobody came to claim those,
exactly.
so it's not that straightforward, but that's also what I like about starting small. I think that's the most important part. And what I wanted to say about Janie is that the best insight she gave us on her appearance on the first minute was that through her experience at wherever she worked, like DraftKings and stuff, it's like, there's no interest in a sport like at the start of the season.
Yes.
That the amount of traffic you get to websites, Google searches, all that kind of stuff in the first week of the season is more than like the rest of the season combined. You know,
That's
like
true.
it's just
Yep.
like that's just when people care the most. So I think these guys not rushing out for the playoffs, taking their time, and even launching like we're still 2.5 months before the season starts. Right, like
But
Connor
not
Bedard doesn't play
really,
his first
though.
game
Not
until like
really.
October 11th. No,
First
not
game,
really.
yes.
But I mean in
Officially,
terms of the.
officially,
But I mean,
yes.
but I'm saying
Mhm.
when the first night of the NHL that's the peak. That's the top.
100%.
Right. If you consider that's the top of attention, it's a build up until there, and then it kind of stays there for a bit and then comes down. Right.
That's right.
And then a month later, people are just like, whatever, let's just get to the playoffs, you know, get to the All-Star game.
It's always like that. That's
it's always like that. Same with NFL, same with NBA. So to start now, I think is brilliant because maybe you're not thinking NHL, but by seeing the pack drop, you're like, oh yeah, I know, I'm excited for the NHL season. I want to get in on this before it starts, you know? And I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's something where I honestly have been trying to save as much money as I possibly can in crypto right now, like just selling everything I can.
Right.
And I will definitely buy a pack.
I forgot to
whatever,
tell them,
you know,
do not forget about us when the NHL All-Star game is in Toronto next year, this upcoming season. And you guys are in town having one of your benders where guys are breaking legs and things like
margarita
that.
parties,
Spicy margarita parties. Do not forget about us. We are the perfect people to connect with and throw a massive, massive party.
Where's the best margarita in Toronto? Is there like a Margaritaville?
There was such a good place in when I lived in Columbus. There was this Mexican place right beside where I lived where you would go and get it. But you would get a margarita that like the size of a fishbowl type of top.
Yeah.
And when you were like a quarter of the way done, they would come and top it up. I'm like, do you want me to die or what? Like, what is this? How am I supposed to? Like, You didn't even ask me if I was driving. Like, this thing will kill me on the spot. In Toronto, I don't know. I don't go around looking for margaritas when I.
We're gonna need whatever. Okay, well, whatever. Let's just make a promise. All-Star game Toronto. If those guys are gonna be there, I'll come to town and we're gonna go for margaritas. And Matt is buying. Okay. Matt is buying. That's how he's gonna. That's his fee for coming on the first mint today is margaritas on him in Toronto at the All-Star game, and Travis has to bring at least 2 NHL players with him.
Ooh.
Yes, at least or past NHL players. I want like Gary Roberts and like some other dude like that.
You know he knows a lot of guys. Yeah, and we're not talking Darcy. No, not Gary Roberts or Darcy Tucker. Those guys are everywhere in Toronto. Like we need some new blood here in the community. Not Wendell Clark, not Doug Gilmore, not.
I
Darcy
want like
Tucker.
the most obscure player possible from a past Leafs or
right.
NHL, career.
Yeah, that had a very special moment in the league at some point. That's what I want.
Corey Cross or somebody like that. Like nobody listening knows who that is. Now we're getting it. This is so uninteresting. People are like, you're just naming obscure players from 25 years ago.
Yeah. Next. That's what they're saying.
Next. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on from NHL.
Speaking of which, is there a Top Shot drop today? I just saw a message come in on my phone. It says, hold on. I don't want to miss it. The spiciest limited edition moments of the NBA season drop on July 25th. All right. So that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. What the hell is that?
What is it? What does it say? Because I know there's the anthology drop for Steph Curry, right? Is that what's happening?
No, it's okay. So you can either buy these on the app for $13.99 USD, which is pissing people off even more.
No. So you can get they're releasing an anthology Steph Curry, which is like a rare.
It's like I didn't know it was tied into that.
It's him dribbling through Chris Paul's legs,
right?
And they're doing it, like the Magic Johnson one and the LeBron one they did this year. And it's in those packs. It's in those packs.
Nice.
So the packs are $13.99 in the app tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific, or 14 trade tickets.
Nice.
And they're called splash packs. I think. I'm not sure. I have no idea because these say extra spice on them. So I don't know what's happening. I haven't really followed.
That's why I asked. I can't keep up. Every time I see this leaderboard stuff, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't really like.
It's so much. It's too much. Every day there's a different leaderboard. I can never be part of it. The one time I looked into it, and it just doesn't end. I don't know if they're just trying to get rid of stuff. I don't know. I haven't.
I mean, listen. I think they're keeping the hardcore people engaged every single day, right? Which I think is important, and you got to focus on those people. And I think every tech app in the world, their goal is to get people to go to the app every single day, not to go once a month. They want people to go in the app and spend money every single day. That's every single app's like that's what Facebook wants you to do. You know what I mean? That's why it sends you like 1 trillion notifications about your high school friend posted for the first time in a long time, and you're like, why are you telling me this, Facebook? Like, that's the whole point. So but I haven't, like, honestly, since I went on a vacation, I just haven't really checked back in. I unlocked whatever I could the other day and sold it immediately, like sold all of it into offers or listed it. It was a bunch of like Raptors moments that I had initially locked. I do want to comment. I know people were I know there's a lot of conversation about the great unlocking, right? Which happened while I was away. And it didn't. I know a lot of people. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter, people saying like, "Wow, so much for the great unlocking. Like, prices didn't change." I think the great unlocking on Top Shot is going to take months, because I don't think very many people locked immediately on the first day.
Right.
Like, I only locked.
Same here. I'm a month behind.
10 or 15 Raptors moments in the first week, but then I have a bunch of others. Yeah, exactly. A month behind. I have some that aren't going to unlock until like January.
That's right.
But I don't know how many of them I'm going to keep. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of the reality of it, that I just don't, trying to build up some dapper balance, but also trying to stay focused on the things that I actually find attractive in the ecosystem, which isn't too much. And I'm just not, the daily stuff with the leaderboards and pack drops and stuff, I'm just not that engaged. Sorry.
I'm
hardcore.
I
Sorry,
don't get
guys.
into that stuff either. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Phil, I do want to talk. Okay. Well, some weird, depressing shit happened while I was gone, so we'll just cruise over it, and then we can talk about the most important thing that I want to talk about, Barbenheimer. Okay. So let's talk about sad things that happened. Dapper laid people off. Which is kind of normal. I mean, I think people were surprised at a third round of layoffs, but I think every single tech company right now is basically doing this thing where they're just trying to show positive cash flow. So I think you have to like cut jobs to do that. Especially companies that don't have product market fit, which is kind of what Dapper has. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't really found the fit for their product. So I think I'm not too phased by that. I think that's just normal in startup life, especially now that all the startup capital has gone to AI. Did you see that Palm and Candy merged into one company? Did you see that?
I did see something like that. Yes. I don't know what it's all about, but I saw that. I did see it.
Palm, which is the blockchain famous for Matrix NFTs and Game of Thrones NFTs, and our former partners at Nifty's, also where Candy Digital is all at. I thought that's a really interesting move, kind of on the business side, for them to combine into one company. Candy was also the company, like, also interesting. Like, Michael Rubin was a huge investor in that company. He owned 60% of it. Fanatics owned 60% of Candy, but got rid of it, divested that share at the start of the year in January, also to show positive cash flow. So, some kind of, I think it's interesting seeing some like, essentially like consolidation, business changes, all that kind of stuff like that. I feel is like how we're kind of at the bottom right now, is that you're seeing kind of these long-term business decisions happen with companies that are not doing super, super, super well. So I want to talk about that. Did you see Barbie this weekend?
No. Listen, there's a lot. I don't even know what the reviews were like. I was kind of waiting to see the reviews, but first and foremost, I think there's a lot of people out there that think it's a kids movie, kind of like a Disney style movie, and apparently it's not. There's a lot I never have interest in a movie when all I hear about is the politics of the movie. I'm always like, if that's what everyone's talking about, and I'm not going to get into specifics, then I don't know, man. Like, I don't even want to be thinking about that the whole movie. But I'll be honest, Barbie is just not something that I like have on my calendar to go see. So
your daughter didn't want to see it?
She does, but everything was sold out on the first. And then she also told me, like, listen, I'll do anything for her. And she told me I have nobody to go with because the majority of her friends right now are gone on vacation. They're not here. Okay. Yeah. Tons of them. She has tons of friends. Or they don't want to go, or they can't go out. I don't know what the story is.
It's not cool to go. It's not cool to go see Barbie.
Listen, when she has nobody to go to the amusement park with, if that ever happens, which it hasn't yet, but I'll always be like, hey, you got nobody, I'm going with you. You want to go see this movie? I'll take you. You want to go to Goo Goo Dolls concert? I'm there, Or she has like, I have no one to go to this crazy concert with because nobody likes that person. I'm like, I'll go with you. I'm cool with that, But when Barbie subject came up, I did everything in my power to kind of be like, well, and if you wait a couple of weeks, there'll be less people and your friends will be back. Like, I just don't see why I would go see Barbie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What is it about? Like, what's the story? Just Ken and Barbie?
Okay, so
the hell?
I don't know, but I can't tell you. Did you hear about the Barbenheimer trend?
Well,
did you hear about this?
Is that those two movies that are like?
So Barbie came out and Oppenheimer came out, right? Oppenheimer is the new Christopher Nolan movie. It's 3 hours long.
Correct.
It's mainly talking. I went to see it. I went to see it on Saturday.
Wow.
And I joked with the guys that I went to see it with for a long time. I was like, we're actually going to see Barbie, right? Just as like a joke, you know? And I sat through this movie. It's Cillian Murphy, who's the guy from like 28 Days Later and the guy they're trying to incept in Inception. He's in a bunch of Peaky Blinders, you know, interesting looking dude. And it's just close-ups of him being in like total mental agony for 3 hours and then other people talking shit about him. Like that's basically what the movie is. It is good, but just so you know, that's what it is. And if you think, spoiler alert, if you think it's full of atomic bomb explosions, it's not. So I'm just gonna tell you that right now. What we did though, as soon as I got out of the theater, is I told the guys, I was like, can we just go into Barbie for like 2 seconds? Which is one thing I love about the movie theater is that when you finish a movie, you can just go into any other movie theater and stand. You can stand in like the hallway and basically
you're
just
one of those guys.
Oh yeah.
Where you hear the door open and like giggling and stuff in the hallway, and then
you see the
no
light.
one actually shows their face. Yeah.
So we went in and we watched one scene from Barbie. Like we just 3 grown ass dudes just standing there in the hallway, no children with us. You know, like we're not dads or anything like that. We just stood there and watched one scene from Barbie. And it looked really intense. That's all I'm gonna say. Like I was like, this is, and obviously I had just watched, you know, this 3-hour talking I'm so sad and upset movie to then go into like Pinkland and everyone's like Barbie, and there's like 20 different people in the scene and they all have like crazy ass makeup and like pink outfits and purple outfits and shit. It was intense. So I'd say if you're gonna go see it, you need to go see it with like, you got to be ready because it feels like you're gonna need a lot of energy to sit through that.
No, that's not appealing to me. Sorry to say, it's just not.
I love your
right? like honestly, it's not. Man. I don't know how to get like of all movies that have come out. I haven't been in the theaters in forever. Barbie's just not at the top of my list. Right, my little box has the recent movies. It'll come out on that.
Oh,
and even then,
secret cable.
But
box.
I don't think that's not secret anymore, man. Screw Rogers. Screw everybody. Okay, screw Bell. Screw Rogers. Yeah. They want to charge us like $90 a month for freaking TV when you can pay $10 a month with the random dude and get what you want. Not that I do that, but I do. I just like, even if it came on the PVR portion or like on that little box, I still wouldn't turn it on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something that's at the top of my list. Let's put it that way.
So what do you think? Let's stay on current topics. Did you sign into X today?
I did. So I went on, like, first thing I did today, actually, I'm going to do an update on my phone right now, see if the app changes. But I looked at it on my phone and I'm like, okay, so was he just trolling everybody? Nothing actually happened. It's because on your phone, it doesn't update. Like but I haven't checked my updates today. So I'm going to do a refresh right now of all the updates. On your phone, does it show an X or does it still show the bird?
You mean like the actual app logo?
The actual app on your phone. Yes.
It's still, it looks like it's still a bird, but in desktop, like the logo that shows up,
I see that. Yes.
In the tab is an X, but in my phone,
yeah.
I feel like I'll need to download an update for that. No?
Well, that's why I thought first thing is there'd be an update. So I did my updates just now, and it's not one of the like 20 updates that came through today.
So, okay. So they haven't updated that part.
They haven't, which is weird, right? You'd think that's one of the first things they do because it's still full Twitter on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an update for Threads though. There's an update for Threads. So maybe they're stepping up their game.
You are like the main Threads influencer in my life. Can I just tell you that it's like, I don't know. I haven't followed Threads at all. I don't talk to anybody about it. And then you're the only person I know that brings it up, but that's mainly because I listened to the last 2 shows you did with Chamber. But otherwise, I don't know anybody else who talks about it or cares about it or anything. But I commend you for being so dedicated.
Let me see if I can pull up the text I sent to LG when Threads first came out. Okay, I don't think I can go that far back because we talked a lot since. But hold on, I will make an attempt right now. Okay, I'm actually going pretty far back here because you were on vacation. So here it is. What did I ask you? Oh shit! When did did you
Threads went live and you're like, are you on Threads? It's crazy in there. And I was like, no.
And your exact response was because it was chaos. It was like any other kind of, when a Discord opens and things like that. I said, are you downloading Threads or what?
Yeah.
What the hell, man? I just saw it. And you sold your Ballers. I have pictures of all your Ballers shoes. I was like, dude, is this yours? What the
It's true. I am out on Ballers. I no longer hold Ballers.
Wow.
Ballers!
And they were all selling.
Nope.
Yeah. See ya. I actually said that the other day. Here it is. Download Threads yet? Ha ha ha. Hell no was your exact answer. And I said it's pure chaos and you never responded. But speaking of Ballers, I actually responded to a thread the other day and I said, looking back, like if I'm being completely honest, it has to be one of my most disappointing moments in the space is what happened with Ballerz. Do you know what I mean? Of
You
all
want
the
to talk
things
about
that
Ballerz right now? Is it you want to pivot?
no,
from Preds to
I
Ballerz? Is that what you wanna do?
just want to say
Is
that I
what- that's what you're
replied
doing.
that to
Yeah.
somebody who said something saying that for me, it was never going to be the Bored Apes of Flow, like people called it. They're like, this is
Mhm.
like the finally it has its signature project.
Mhm.
It was more the way it was kind of abandoned that got me. Do you know what I mean? I was,
Mhm.
I got out at the right time, but not really, because I could have obviously profited a lot more than I did off what I
Mhm.
owned.
Mhm.
But I truly believe that we were onto something kind of special. So that one, if you ask me, not my biggest regrets, but probably my biggest disappointments, that would be number one in terms of, not that we were misled, but just the opportunity that was there and that was missed, right? I feel if different people had been in charge of Ballerz, it may have gone a different direction. Now, having said that, everything's gone to shit. So there's no saying it would have survived.
Well, I think that's an interesting
mass
way.
fields,
I think
but-
that's an interesting topic because everything has gone to shit, but I think it's the way in which you go to shit that matters the most.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's where like I've seen a lot of people, bringing Top Shot back into it as a staple of basically everything that can happen to an NFT project.
That's right.
Is people, I've seen people say, and again, I'm not trying to add more FUD, but I've seen people say, hey, Apes is down just as much as a lot of Top Shot moments. Why don't people hate Apes the same way they hate Top
Mhm.
Shot? Where's the
Mhm.
FUD for that? Why isn't
That's right.
AG shitting all over Apes? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think it's the way in which it's done,
Mhm.
and
True.
the way in which the community is handled. Apes was very speculative, but they've never really pissed off their community. They're just the market leader, and they represent what the market did. Other projects like Top Shot and Ballerz, and a lot of others, not just Flow Ecosystem,
Mhm.
tons of others, I think have found ways to piss
Alienate
their
people.
hardcore believers off.
Mhm.
Yeah, to really alienate them. And would the price have gone down even if they never did that? Probably. But I think it's
Mhm.
like, I think that's what you're seeing now matters the most is not how the price goes up or down, or no, it's not whether the price goes up or down, it's how it does,
Mhm.
right? Or what caused that, or just what the community thinks caused
They
it.
still have a great community. A lot of people are gone, obviously, but you're right though. Like we
Mm.
never had a problem with the people in charge at the community level.
Mhm.
It was kind of the people at the top where red flags were raised early as to
Mhm.
what the hell are they actually doing. And in the end, they kind of just vanished anyways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
what got a lot of people. Now, having said that, I think the floor is still like $100 or whatever it is. Okay. That's
Yeah.
not that bad. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for me, a number one disappointment in the space is and it's not because I didn't even own that many. I only had like 5. I didn't have like 100.
Yeah, we only bought a few. We only bought a few.
You know
when
what I
it
mean?
came
Like
out.
it wasn't about that. It was
Yeah.
it was kind of the adrenaline rush we had during the best days of Ballerz was kind of hard
Yeah.
to compare to anything that was as accessible as Ballerz ended up being for a lot of people, right? Bored Apes is a whole other story. Okay, you missed the
Yeah.
original boat. You missed the original boat. End of story. There was, and you're right. Look, they're still doing Ape Fest. No matter what, they're still doing Ape Fest.
Well, they're still delivering value. Like that's the thing.
right.
At the end of the day, it's like Apes have still built all the stuff they said they were going to build, and the stuff that isn't out yet, they are actively building, and it's really clear that they're building it, right? And again, it's hard to compare anything to Apes because they've been so successful. But Apes had Ape Fest. They had multiple Ape Fests. They have games, like you can play their games. It's expensive, but you can play it. They have multiple different types of games. They've had very profitable airdrops and claims to people that held it. They released a token that's not legal in every country, but that is tradable in many countries. Like they've done all that stuff, and the total like market cap of all their stuff combined is still a ton. You know what I mean? And people that are into Apes are still really into Apes, and even
still
people
doing
on the outside,
events, meetups, all that shit.
absolutely, man. Like they managed to, even if the price went down, nobody really thinks it was their fault. Other than, maybe, and even the things where they do think it's their fault, it's like, well, there's too many other deeds, all that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't affect people's feelings towards the long-term trajectory of the company. Whereas in some other cases, it does. So I think that's like a really interesting thing to think about, to study, is like what creates that negative long-term sentiment when on paper the results have been almost the same, right? So I don't know, that's a very interesting thing. I think all of us wish that Ballerz had survived, honestly, because in my opinion, it's quite.
It just had such a fun aspect in terms of everything from the teams to when you look at it now, it doesn't look like anything special, but you know, it's the way it made people feel is that you even had some apes people kind of angry, being like, what the hell's going on here? Right? Like, why is everyone like, screw this flow shit? Why is everyone going crazy? Right.
Yeah.
And for me, if you're drawing that kind of attention, you had something good going on. But the longer it went on where nothing happened, and it wasn't just nothing happening. It was the lack of communication or no communication that kind of really had people like, all right, like, do you remember that NBA 2K League player that sold that baller for, do you remember that massive transaction for like, man, it had to be like, what was it? I don't know. What was it? Do you remember it was a big deal?
Yeah,
anyways,
it was
like, we're talking like,
it was like $100,000 or something.
Dude, it was nuts.
You know who bought it? Was Wade's. I think Wade's bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but now
Wade's
looking
bought it.
back, you're looking at him. His name was Zay something, the basketball player. And you're like, man, that guy actually pulled. If that was me, I probably would have held it. I'm not going to lie. Right. Like, I would have been like, all right, Ballerz is only getting started here. I'm holding this thing. No way. Someone's going to pay $1 million for it. Right.
Yeah.
When he left, I was like, damn, this guy's, you know, taking a risk here and he's cashing out. He's a professional 2K League player. He makes money. But he ended up making a great move at the time. And that was for me a kind of a bit of a red flag. I'm like, okay, like where is this going now? I think if he's willing to finally sell it, I feel like people like him who are just casuals are losing hope a little bit. And that's not good. That'll start trickling down. The hardcores will always be there. Like the hardcores, if you go in their Discord, Ballerz, the hardcores that you could probably name off right now, they're all still there. But it's
every
the other
project
people.
has that though. Every project has
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But
Like every project
others.
has people, no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the others for me that you need to really capture and keep around and keep interested or keep hopeful that Ballerz failed with. And still, I don't know what happened to the leadership there. I don't even know where they are. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know if they're still around. I have no clue what's going on there, man. You know? So
well,
anyways.
there's that, and it's also like Ballerz launched at a time when Flow had new projects coming out on it, right? And we're in the middle of that. We did Flow Fest, right? They hired us to do Flow Fest to bring Flow Fest to life. And those are the days where it's like Flow up until that point had only really had Top Shot. And this was like the coming out party, like new marketplaces, new projects coming out on Flow. Check out all these companies that are building. This is cool. And in that mix were a couple of PFP projects like Ballerz, like Hoodlums, and some other, you know, Goats or whatever the other crappy ones were. The Rugs. But you know what I mean? So there was a lot of excitement, even though by that point Top Shot had started to, you know, trickle down. I think people forget that even though Top Shot had its peak in March 2021 and then a dip through the spring and then another little pump in August 2021, at the end of 2021, Top Shot was still like an incredibly popular and relevant project. People forget that. Like the data, January 2022, there were 70,000 individual buyers on Top Shot, and that's after KYC. Like there were still a fuck ton of people on Top Shot at the start of 2022. So when you have all these new Flow projects coming out, and you know, everyone's who's been in the Flow corner has been watching, or even people that are everywhere in NFTs, they've been watching all these new projects on ETH and mainly that come out, and Moon, you're thinking that that's going to happen on Flow. So I think it's very normal at the time. It made a lot of sense to think that things like Ballerz and Hoodlums were going to be massive, that were going to be as big as apes, right? Like it made a lot of sense because at that point we hadn't realized Top Shot and hadn't really gone through 2022, which 2022 was an absolute train wreck of epic proportions for Top Shot. I don't think people realize how much worse 2022 was for Top Shot than it was than 2021. You know, that it went from 70,000 users to 5, and it went through the Janie fiasco and tons of other shit and 60,000 K mints. You know what I mean? So I just think that inevitably Flow, no matter how hard it tries, will always, for a very long time until it has some new notable thing come out, will always be an ecosystem whose sun is Top Shot, and all the rest of it is all little planets that just circle around it. And that Top Shot, when it comes to sentiment, is a black hole for a lot of the rest of the crypto space, and anything associated with it kind of gets sucked into that. And I think that's, you know, Ballerz totally mismanaged a lot of issues. I think that Flow they have to dig themselves out of that hole, out of the Top Shot hole, and making Top Shot people happy like they have been. You know, these leaderboards, if that does make Top Shot hardcores happy, is good, but I don't know how you're ever going to get those 70,000 people back onto Top Shot or into the Flow ecosystem. I don't even know how you're going to do that. right? So who knows?
And I think with NHL Breakaway, they're going. It sounds like they're geared that way. It has to be kind of the new audience, the ones who know nothing about this, the ones who are not coming in with these crazy expectations of this and that. And it feels like they're trying to find it. But for me, LG, it's still that no one has kind of puzzled all of that together yet, how to do that, right? And it might not be something that you can even do right now. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It might not be something that there might not be a formula to do it. It might not be something people want to do. You might not be able to, bring in the whole hockey crowd into NFTs and moments and things like that. We didn't ask them what they're called. Are they going to be called moments? We actually forgot to ask them.
I don't think so. I think Dapper has a trademark on the word moments.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I don't think you can call anything moments.
I would love to hear what they want to call.
I think they're just collectibles. I mean, I think the best shot that Breakaway has is to start slow and steady. I think that's what makes the most sense. I hope they haven't promised the NHL, $100 million in revenue in the first year, right? Like, because that would make them make bad decisions. I hope it's a very slow trickle. Like, I think it took decades for sports cards to catch on. I think it's going to take decades for digital collectible cards to catch on. So I think it sounds like more than any other company that Sweet and NHL are ready for that. Hence their very modest supply to start, So who knows what will happen? Phil D, anything else before we wrap out? I think this has been a great episode.
It's been a great episode. It's fantastic to have you back. I sort of missed Chad and Amber. Chamber, is that what it was? Is it Chad and Amber? Is that what the
that is his wife's name? Yeah, Amber's his wife's name, and his name.
You're
is
right.
Chad, yeah.
I would have never guessed. If he told me to guess why he's called Chamber, I could have come up with 100 reasons and not even been close with that.
Yeah,
it was
strange. That's very strange, man. Yeah,
the rec part speaks for itself. But no, it's nice to have you back. I'm sure we'll have more and more to talk about. Obviously, as as things kind of start to pick up. It is kind of the slow summertime right now, but like I said, sports-wise, we're heading into, the show Hard Knocks is starting in a couple of weeks, which covers the first week of training camp for the New York Jets. And the NFT space, we'll see what happens. I don't know of any major things coming up, but we'll see what happens. There's always something that'll keep us occupied.
Can we just talk real quick about Matt's promise that it's going to be the greatest pack opening experience ever?
I can't wait. When he said that, I'm like, okay. If he was willing to say that in front of you, Mr. I'm going to
call you out for everything you've ever said.
You if you're not right. I was actually shocked that he said that, because if he's going to say that in front of you, he must have something, or they must have something spectacular planned where I want to be blown away. Actually, I watched an Instagram video yesterday where it says that a surfer, it was a surfer on a paddleboard or on a surfboard. And it said that because he was like freaking out on the surfboard because there was a shark almost right beside him in the water. But the closer he got trying to swim to shore, he saw that it was a dolphin. Okay. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what the hell's the point of this video? Like, I wanted to see him almost get killed. And he jumps in the water and he goes underwater and he has a camera strapped to him. And a shark comes out of nowhere and eats it's fake, but it was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't expect that. Right.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, that looked real. Like, it looked like he thought the whole time it's a dolphin. He goes in the water and then they made some kind of animation where a shark comes out of nowhere and just bam, opens his mouth right in front of him.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I want. I want to be blown away. I don't want it to be just I don't want it to be a puck exploding into a million pieces. Like those pieces of puck that you bought.
That's exactly what it's going to be. Whatever you're thinking in your head, they're like, it better not be like this. I guarantee that's what it's going to be.
That's exactly what they're doing right now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they have it. It's obviously it's a done deal. So it's not like they can change it.
No, he's not going to change it based on your complaint right now.
But you know what? I'm interested to see, blow us away. I would love for these pack openings to kind of be like roll up the rim with Tim Hortons, where every 10th pack opening comes with a side prize. Like, here's $25 gift card to the NHL store or something like that. That just a little thing that comes up and pops up while you open the pack. I think it'd be really cool to start putting things like that. Or, 2 tickets, one every 1,000 packs has 2 tickets to your favorite NHL team for a game.
They should do stuff like that. Yeah. Or even just
tickets
tickets to any game. And then you can
to
sell
any
them.
game you want. I think, just let us know what, and we'll
I'm sure there's
a
million legal things against that, but
I know, but they need to get over these things. These legal things.
They get,
enough of that. They're able to do contests everywhere that have similar shit. I'm so sick of the legal excuse. Like, you know what? Go to their legal team, be like, what the hell's the problem? You know,
I agree with you. I think that's something that's really interesting, is that like these packs of digital collectibles should have a bunch of other shit in there. It shouldn't just be the cards. It should be other fun, like, okay, you get a hat, you know, like just whatever. Like roll up the rim is a really good analogy. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Or collect 10 of these and you get, you know, I don't know, something small.
Like the primary, like, you know, 90% of them are the collection, right? You are card collecting,
right?
But that occasionally there's like a golden ticket for something super random.
I think it'd be great. And it's been missing from pack drops everywhere, right? Like Top Shot would always tell you one lucky collector in line will win this.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, guess what? Here's the winner. I'm like, how'd you even come up with that? Like, how'd you just selected a random dude in line? Like, I don't think so. Right. Make our pack opening experience be like, okay, I might get a legendary. I might get a number one. I might get a jersey number, but shit, I might get that trip to this All-Star game coming up at the same time. And that'll make it better than anything in that pack on top of what I got. And that'll have the fans coming. That for me, if you include real life stuff like that, you know, you tell the fans in the arena, you guys want to go to the All-Star game this year? Well, there's this thing called NHL Breakaway, where not only do you get to own your favorite players' collectibles and their first NHL goals and things like that, but while you're opening these packs, 1 in every 1,000 will have 2 tickets to your favorite team's game, you know? And then I think as a fan who doesn't even know anything about, you know, digital collectibles, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to try this thing out. Let me try and buy one of these packs and try my luck. You know, the lottery can't just be for a number 1 cereal or a jersey number cereal is all I'm saying. There has to be a bit more for me that you just like cereal boxes. We never, LG, when we were kids, we never got the 100%. Cereal boxes that didn't have the stupid ass toy somewhere hidden inside.
Some kind of contest or something like that. Either contest to win or toys or whatever. Yeah, I agree. I think that's where, like, I really do think that NFTs and digital collectibles is just that for adults. I don't think we ever stopped wanting that. We just stopped wanting the products where that existed. You know what I mean? Because then you got older and you stopped eating, you know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
Cocoa Crisp,
right? But it's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch never stopped having cool toys inside of it.
You're gonna get destroyed for saying that. Someone out there loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They'll be like, "Hey, I still eat."
I know. I already know who it is, so you don't have to say that. I already know who you think loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch out of our listeners. Okay, you don't have to say that part. Bring your Cinnamon Toast Crunch hot takes. Okay, that's what I want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not because adults didn't want to do that stuff. It's because they don't make those kinds of products for adults. The only product that did that long term was McDonald's Monopoly, right? But I think that's what NFTs and all that kind of shit. Guess what? All adults in the world, all 40-year-olds, all we do is just sit around, stare at our phones all freaking day, and we want more gamification in there, right?
But it's a great example. Tim Hortons, or Hortons, as most of you listeners know it, in Canada, and McDonald's in both Canada and the US have contests that actually get people to say, "Oh shit, it's roll up the rim time. Oh shit, it's Monopoly time." We all know we're not winning nothing. Okay, we all know how it works and the scandals that there have been. But you're still it's going to gear you towards it, knowing that when you buy that Big Mac combo, you're getting 3 or 4 shots at a free fries or a free cheeseburger, which as a consumer, you're happy with that. No matter what, you got something out of it. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but you got something out of it. And that's even where they could go with things like, you know, game used jerseys and all the things they use those things for, all that shit, man. You know, the next pack drop will have Connor Bedard's game used jersey from his 3rd NHL game. Something like that. Guess what? Guess who would show up for this pack drop? So many people, man. Would be like,
tons of people.
Hold on a second. Where? I can buy a pack of digital collectibles.
Exclusives.
And maybe get that while I don't know.
I like that. I actually like that more of like, it's things that literally you can't get anywhere else. And totally, you can get Connor Bedard signed jerseys, but it's like he signed, like it's like his puck. His first
exactly. Right. I mean,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That might be part of the equation to get these sort of,
but I think Phil, I think Phil as well, like this is again where it takes time. I don't think you can start with that. There's not enough buy-in from the league. Like the league see this as one of many different things that they're doing, all of which want the most exclusive thing. So I think over time you will have that type of stuff, but I don't think you can start with it. I don't think that this is experiential for the leagues, right? They're not fully committed. Well, they're committed, but it's not.
No, for sure.
It's not a huge revenue stream for them compared to other things.
Yeah.
So it's
just,
like,
just tell your people we have legal issues is what they say.
You know, you want to do the first ever game signed NBA jersey from Wemby. and Top Shot's asking for it, and also State Farm's asking for it. Who are you going to go with?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go with State Farm. That's like your primary sponsor, or whoever else is their primary. You know what I mean? Like,
No, but
you'll go with them. That's way more money.
I agree. But again, it's an opportunity. NHL Breakaway. Hey, our first pack's this Thursday. It's all guys, rookies in their first NHL goals. In there somewhere, in those 3,000 packs will be 2 tickets to Connor Bedard's first game. And when you open your pack, it will pop up on your screen and either say, sorry, good luck next time, or it will say, hey, this is the big winner. And then I'm telling you, I think a lot of people, it would open a lot of people's eyes saying, holy shit, how did that person win that? And they got a cool collecting experience at the same time that maybe they didn't even know about, or didn't want to venture off and spend $59 to try that and not get more out of it than just maybe a new venture. Right. So we'll see what they do. I think the NHL has an opportunity to do stuff like that, maybe more than everybody else, just because it's the NHL. And, you know, they're considered one of the lower tier major sports in terms of interest in North America, overall interest. If we're talking in terms of ratings and things like that, they are not ahead of the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball. So,
but they're not at the bottom either. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They're like solo in that kind of like,
arguably hockey is more popular than it's ever been right now, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just, you know, a couple noses ahead above you know, NASCAR or something like that, but still like distinctly often considered one of the 4.
Don't mess with
it's considered the 4th with those other 3.
That's right. That's what I mean.
In North America.
So if anyone can take a shot with stuff like that, I could see the NHL. But we'll see what happens. We're not the people.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll be back on Thursday when that pack drops, because I'm definitely going to line up for it with my credit card. It's fucking stupid, but yeah, whatever. I'll be there.
Hey,
all right, Phil D. Have a good week, bro.
You too, bro.
Your search is over, now welcome to First Mint. Looking for NFT content? Look no further, cause this is it. From Top Shot, the blockchain, they got the data chops, analysis, impact drops, the show's equator hot. LG and Phil D, the best amongst others. Best brothers to happen to ball since the Ball brothers. So settle in, cause it's time